NBC Sports presents the best of the National Football League, the American Football Conference. Today from Memorial Stadium, it's the Miami Dolphins versus the Baltimore Colts. Today's game is brought to you by the new Chrysler Corporation. For 1982, Chrysler has the cars, the quality, and the prices America needs. By Budweiser, for all you do, this Bud's for you. By Federal Express, when it absolutely positively has to be there overnight. Federal Express. And by RCA Video Disc. Bring the magic home on RCA. Welcome to Baltimore, Maryland, everyone. Sam Nofer and Dave Rowe. We're set with the opening kickoff. The undefeated Miami Dolphins, 3-0 on the year against the rather disappointing Baltimore Colts. They have been trounced the last 2 weeks in both Buffalo and Denver. 1-2 on the year. Mike Woods set to kick it off for the Baltimore Colts. In the deep receiving spot is Fulton Walker, the rookie out of West Virginia, and he fields the ball 3 yards deep in the end zone. To the 10, 20, across the 25 to about the 27. Stopped by Randy Burke, the wide receiver, now in his 4th year, and so the Miami Dolphins, after a 28-yard return by Fulton Walker, will go to work offensively with this offense. David Woodley, their starting quarterback. Tommy Vigorito replaces the injured Tony Nathan at running back, and the fullback is Andre Franklin after they lost Woody Bennett for the season. Duriel Harrison, Nat Moore, the receivers. Of course, you'll see a lot of Jimmy Cephalo. Ronnie Lee starts at tight end. And the offensive line, Giesler, the veteran Kuchenberg out of Notre Dame, Dennard, Newman, and Laxo. From the 27-yard line, David Woodley in his 2nd year out of LSU. We've got a couple of LSU quarterbacks today, Woodley and Burt Jones. Straight up the middle. Franklin to the 35-yard line. So on first down, Miami gaining a quick 7 is Andre Franklin, the hero in Houston last Sunday, catching the touchdown pass from Don Strock. Brought down by Herb Orvis, 88, and Nesby Glasgow, 25. As you look at a patchwork defensive line now for Baltimore, Hosea Taylor, Barnes, Orvis, and Ozdowski. Donnell Thompson, their #1 draft choice, will not play today. 2nd down and 2. Steve Howell in the backfield. Outside, Vigorito trying to get the first down, is brought down as he crosses the 35-yard line. Stopped by Barry Krause, now in his 3rd year out of Alabama. And we may have a measurement here as the referee signals for a timeout. And he's calling for the change all the way to the other side of the field. So Miami running the ball right off the bat here. Although it should be noted that this Baltimore team, Dave Rowe, can be thrown against and thrown very effectively against.
They certainly have, Sam. They've been thrown against a lot in the last 2 weeks. But I think we're very indicative of the style of play was that Miami came right out and attacked them right up the middle. And that's where they've had their problems. And evidenced again, Nesby Glasgow had the first tackle, and he's leading the team with tackles right now. We got a first down situation, and they're going to run it again.
Let's finish that defensive unit for Baltimore. I mentioned Barry Krause along with Ed Smith, the rookie out of Vanderbilt. In the middle, they miss Ed Simonini here very badly. Mike Woods on the other side. And the secondary has been exploited. Larry Brazile particularly. Hatchett's played very well with Bruce Laird, the veteran, and Nesby Glasgow, who Dave Rowe just said, leads this team in tackles. It isn't very often that your safety leads your team in tackles. First down, Miami at the 37. And not much there for Andre Franklin, the rookie from Nebraska. This time Smith was there to make the stop, number 52, along with Mike Barnes, number 63, the 9-year veteran out of Miami. And I imagine he's got some friends and family watching back in Miami today.
I'm sure he does. You know, a funny thing that's happened to Miami this year, they've used an awful lot of running backs already. I believe they're losing 1 running back a game, and it's evidenced by the fact that Vigorito has only had 12 rushes before this game. So they're certainly going to miss Tony Nathan.
2nd down and 9, the ball at the Miami 38-yard line. No score, just underway. A sparse crowd here in Baltimore. They've been playing to about 20,000 empty seats. First pass of the day to Howell. Breaks a tackle at the 40, gets to the 43-yard line. Brazile is the man who brought him down. But David Woodley throwing to Steve Howell, who was activated for this game after they lost Woody Bennett for the year. Howell started the season with Miami. Actually went to training camp with Miami, was cut, picked up by Philadelphia, and then was re-signed. As you look at the standings in the East, you can't do any better than 3-0.
Certainly can't.
Not at this point in the year anyway. Baltimore right in the middle of the pack. Buffalo's in a 7-7 tie at the moment with Cincinnati. On third down, Jimmy Cephalo becomes the third wide receiver. Third down and 4. This will be a noisy place despite the sparse crowd. Woodley has a man wide open. First down. Tommy Vigorito, the rookie out of Virginia, up around midfield, stopped there by Kim Anderson, the nickel back. But Miami has another first down, David.
The first two passes that they've attempted have both been to Larry Brazil's side. That's the person that got picked on so much last week, number 47. Kim Anderson has this coverage one-on-one, and all he can do is chase him out of bounds.
Vigorito's stats from scrimmage are not very impressive, averaging about 1.5 yards a pop. But he'll have a chance to improve that today with Tony Nathan nursing a bruised ribs. In fact, he's dressed in a flak jacket if he's needed, but they'd like to keep him out. First and 10 from the midfield stripe. Franklin runs head-on into the middle linebacker, Ed Smith. He's 6'3", 216 in his second year out of Vanderbilt. He's an undersized middle linebacker, 216, but there's no more undersized middle linebacker than Ed Simonini.
That's certainly true. The Baltimore Colts have lost the heart of their defense in losing Ed Simonini. He has led the team every year that he's played here in tackles, and Ed Smith is trying to come in and fill in for him, and he really came up quick on that play and made a heck of a hit. That's a real load coming in there at 5'10", 225 pounds.
Big day for Mr. Shula. His son is directly on the opposite sidelines from him. Woodley, option. Vigorito, 45, 40 and out of bounds, but a penalty marker is down. Hosea Taylor, the Houston rookie, a 6th-round draft choice, ran him out. But hold everything, there's a penalty flag down. Illegal procedure against the Dolphins, so this one's coming back, Dave.
That's a play that you very rarely see in professional football because of the valueness of a quarterback. You rarely see a quarterback come down the line like that and pitch it, but Woodley's a durable quarterback. He's young, and the Miami Dolphins feel that they can run that play, and they have been successful in the past weeks with it.
Illegal motion on the offense. Second down.
That's our referee, Bob Frederick. The rest of the crew has Lou Palazzi, Jerry Berkman, Bob Beeks, Bill Swanson, Ron Murphy, Don Hakes. Here in Baltimore, magnificent day. As we said at the outset of our broadcast, it's more like Miami weather than anything else. Temperature is supposed to be in the low 80s today. So it's first and, or rather, second down and 12. Nickel defense now employed by Baltimore. Looking for the David Woodley pass. There's only one setback. That's Hunter Franklin as Woodley has time to throw the ball. Now he's chased. He's got room to run it. 45, 50. 45 takes a big hit and goes down at the 44-yard line. He ran into Ricky Jones, the linebacker out of Tuskegee, and he had some room momentarily, but Jones finally ran him down, and Woodley did not go down, did he?
No, he did not. That's a funny thing amongst the younger quarterbacks like Woodley is. He doesn't run to get out of bounds. He had a chance to get out of bounds there. He's only about 4 or 5 yards on the sideline. He's looking obviously downfield and can't find anything, so he bails out, and Herb Orvis there is chasing him down, number 88. But right here, he has a chance to get out of bounds, and he turns it back in, takes a heck of a shot there. But that's a young quarterback who will learn more.
Third down and 5, so he gets 7 yards back. 3rd and 5, Miami. Nat Moore in motion. Everybody's in the pattern. Woodley across the middle of Cephalo, first down at the 31. And Miami inexorably moving toward the Baltimore goal line. Tackle made by Nesby Glasgow, the safety, but not before Jimmy Cephalo got the first down at the 31-yard line of Baltimore.
That's a terrible pass to have the defense. Woodley looks him all the way in here. Cephalo he's just cutting across the seam. He takes a heck of a hit, but that's a real hard pass to defend against. That seam pass coming quick in and just timed perfectly. Baltimore has got to come out and stop them to gain that confidence on their defense.
Duriel Harris goes wide right. Nat Moore is in the slot to the right on 1st and 10 from the Baltimore 31. And Woodley back to pass again. Throws a home run ball to Vigorito. Touchdown! Yes! What a great catch by Vigorito, and an equally great throw by David Woodley.
They changed the coverage that time. Bruce Laird, number 40, came over instead of Larry Brazil. And evidently it didn't even work when Bruce Laird, the veteran in the backfield there, came over to cover him. Figueredo just looks the ball all the way in, catches it in the corner of the end zone. You can see Laird should have been called for face guarding there. Figueredo made a tremendous catch, so evidently they're going that side regardless of who's there.
Uwe von Schamann will attempt to have the extra point. It's 6-0 now, Miami. 32 yards officially on the touchdown pass from Woodley to Figueredo. And just a beautifully thrown football, but a sensational catch by Figueredo, right over his head. Snap, placement, the kick is up, and it is perfect.
It's good.
So it didn't take Miami long at all. 9:56 to go here in the first quarter. On their first possession, they absolutely shove it down Baltimore's throats, and they lead it 7-0. Against his son, because David Shula is on the field. Number 85 in the receiving formation of the Baltimore Colts. Their deep men are Kim Anderson, 26, Zach Dixon, 31, and David Shula, number 85. Set to kick it off, Uwe von Schamann. Great series by the Miami Dolphins. They move it 73 yards for the touchdown. Anderson at the 12, to the 20, 25. Trying to break a tackle. Somebody's got him by one leg down there, and he won't let go. And they whistle the play dead. So Baltimore now goes to work offensively for the first time in the football game with Burt Jones, number 7, their quarterback, and a couple of real bookends at the running backs. Curtis Dickey, second year out of Texas A&M, and the outstanding Pitt rookie Randy McMillan, who ran for 146 yards against New England. Carr, Butler, and the tight end Reese McCall. McCall getting his first start of the year. And that offensive line that we talked about that Burt Jones apparently says isn't giving him the good protection. Here's Dickey. Getting outside to the 32, slides to the 34-yard line. Upended there by number 48, Gerald Small, the cornerback. This is the number 2 defense in the National Football League at the moment. Doug Betters, the left end, Baumauer, the nose tackle. Vern Den Herder will start ahead of Beaucamper. With 4 great linebackers, Brzezinski picked up from the Rams. Roan, A.J. Dewey will be everywhere today. And Larry Gordon. And that secondary in its second full year together is an outstanding young secondary. Second down 4. Dickey, 35, 40, breaks it into the secondary, fumbles the ball, but they may have whistled the play dead. I believe they did at the 41-yard line. And if so, it'll be a Baltimore first down.
A delay play to Curtis Dickey that time. They're going to do anything to try and put the Miami defense off guard, so to speak. They've got a great pass rush. Everyone knows the story of the 16 sacks, as we alluded to it earlier, but they've got to do something to get the ball more to Dickey and more to McMillan. It's a simple delay pattern. Number 27, Dickey takes. He's got a whale of a hole here. If he could get by one more man, he's gone all the way. And what speed he has, regarded as one of the fastest men in the NFL today.
I think they say he is the fastest. This man's got 4.2 speed in the 40. And he ran that in football shoes. Burt Jones, 1st and 10, Baltimore. Good time. Throws to his tight end, Reese McCall, at the 46-yard line. That is McCall's first catch of the year. And listen to the crowd. Throwing to his tight end.
That's only the second pass to his tight end.
It's almost, Dave, like Burt said, I'm going to throw to my tight end on the first pass. I'm going to throw to Raymond Butler on my second pass and make everybody happy and get it out of my system once and for all, because people say I don't throw to either one of them.
Well, they worked this week, Sam, on that very aspect of the game, going more to the other receivers.
Second down 6. Double wing formation. Randy McMillan trying to take it outside. Collared by Larry Gordon and dragged down as he reaches the 47-yard line. The 6-year veteran out of Arizona State would not let McMillan get outside. So they'll come up about 4 yards shy of the first down. It'll be 3rd down and 4 now for Baltimore. Trying to possess the football. Miami leads at 7-0. 7.5 to go first quarter.
This is where you bring in Donnie McCauley, number 23 from UNC, the famous 3rd down player here. He's had a phenomenal success in a number of years at 3rd down.
Roger Carr goes wide to the left, Raymond Butler to the right. Setbacks are Dickey and McCauley, and Jones back to pass. 3rd and 5. Over the middle, caught, first down to who else? Don McCauley. Mr. Clutch.
Mr. 3rd down, there he is, number 23. He's been doing that for 11 years. It's a simple swing out of the backfield, and Burt knows who he can go to. Don McCauley's got probably one of the best hands coming out of the backfield. For 11 years, as we said, he's been doing it out of UNC. He's probably a very highly renowned ball carrier there, but here he's a pass receiver on third down.
So far, Miami has exerted no pressure on Burt Jones whatsoever, although it's been a very short drop, and he's throwing short passes. McMillan and Dickey, and it's McMillan on the pitch, 45, 40, 35, cuts back at the 30, inside the 25 to the 23-yard line. The saving tackle made by Don Besselou, but Randy McMillan with a 24-yard gallop.
This is what Baltimore has got to do. They've got to come out and establish the ground game. What really helped them in this play is they went to a quick double wing formation and caught Miami out of balance. In other words, they had more men outside of Miami and had enough blockers, and McMillan took it wide for 24 yards.
So it's first down 10, Baltimore at the Miami 23. The Colts answering the Miami Dolphins, hopefully for them, with a touchdown of their own. McMillan in motion, and Dickey on a counter the other way to about the 21-yard line. Dan Herter, number 83, is on the top. Bob Baumauer, number 73, on the bottom. Here are some scores from around the NFL. Second quarter, 21-10. The New York Jets, looking for their first win of the year, lead the Houston Oilers. Buffalo now has gone ahead of Cincinnati by a score of 14-7, as you see an illegal procedure call against Baltimore. Pittsburgh leads New England 14-7. That game's in the second quarter. Atlanta on top of Cleveland 10-7. That's at Cleveland Stadium, Cleveland.
Illegal motion. 2 men moving on the offense. Declined. Second down.
Lions and Raiders scoreless at the Silver Dome in Pontiac, and Philadelphia leads Washington 7-3 now. Mark Mosley has just kicked a 19-yard field goal. Here it's 7-0, the Miami Dolphins. But the Colts are on the move. Second down 8. The penalty was declined. Kim Bocamper replaces Ben Herter now in an obvious pass situation for Burt Jones. Little pressure. 20, 15, 10, and slides at the 5. First and goal, Baltimore.
Burt had to bail out of that situation. On that situation right there, he was right. The pocket did crush down around him, and he had to run with the ball. He come up limping a little bit as he made a terrible hook slide into about the 10-yard line, 5-yard line. But Burt's pocket obviously collapsed. He does a slight roll there to try to get more time, and you can see how close the pocket is on him, and he has no alternative except to run.
One of the big raps against Burt Jones, Dave, as you well know here in Baltimore, is that he has not been willing to run. He has been very reluctant to do that.
Well, when he used to run, they used to say he's crazy. Now that he slides, they say that he's not courageous. As a quarterback, you're under continual abuse back and forth. Burt's going to come over here to the sidelines now.
So the Baltimore Colts have called a timeout, but when we come back to Municipal Stadium, Baltimore, the Colts will have it first down and goal at the Miami 5. When we had you seated, and I looked a lot bigger. Now you dwarf me. What do you think so far? How's your old team look?
Well, I think it looks good. I think it's going to be a good ball game. The fact that Baltimore's come back and driven down the field gives them hope both on offense and defense. And if they can score here, they're going to have a new ball game.
Burt Jones obviously hurt his ankle just a little bit because he needed that timeout to go to the sidelines, and they worked on him a little bit. So it'll be a Baltimore first down and goal to go at the Miami 5-yard line. The Dolphins lead at 7-0. Dolphin defense has been extremely stingy. They've only yielded 3 touchdowns this year in 3 games. McMillan to the 3. Initial contact was made by number 59, Brudzinski. Baumauer made the tackle secure at the 3-yard line, so it'll be second down and goal, Baltimore, from the 3.
A lot has been said about the fact that Burt Jones is having a bad year, but I think the real essence of it is the fact that Don Shula regards him as one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And he is a real competitor. I mean, he'll be out there with a broken ankle playing.
2 tight ends, McCall 86, Sherwin 83. Second down and goal, Baltimore at the 3-yard line. Now Raymond Butler with a quick change to the left side, but they come right. Curtis Dickey turns it out. Didn't make it. Stopped at the 1-yard line, but a marker is down again. A penalty flag is down, and preliminary indication is holding against Baltimore. That would be a shame for Baltimore fans. Mike McCormick doesn't like it.
Well, the run to Dickey going wide, trying to use his speed. Obviously, there was a holding call back inside the line trying to reach.
And the walk-off by referee Bob Frederick.
Tripping on the offense, number 68. Second down.
Well, that'll kill a rally, won't it? Jeff Hart, number 68, clipping. And they spot the ball back now at the 12-yard line.
In fairness to Hart, that's a really tough block, Sam, to reach out there and capture your defensive end, get him inside. And evidently, he wheeled on him, tripped him with his leg. It's a tough call, and you don't see it called very often.
Second down, goal to go at the 13-yard line. They spot the ball. Play action. Jones in the end zone. Intercepted. Ernest Roan brings it out to about the 15-yard line. He had second thoughts about it for a moment. But the Baltimore troubles continue here in Baltimore. Burt Jones intercepted at the goal line. That story tells it all. Intended for Reese McCall. Miami has a football back when we return to Memorial Stadium.
Driven to Baltimore Colts 65 yards and tries to go his tight end, Reese McCall, number 86. Roan steps in front of him, takes off, and the Miami defense has turned it around again. A real disheartening thing for the Baltimore Colts.
That's the first interception of the year for Ernie Roan, who plays the pass extremely well. That's his 10th career interception. And obviously, they like it on the Miami sidelines. Don Shula. His team leading 7-0. David Woodley has been perfect throwing the football. 4 for 4, 57 yards and a touchdown pass. Will start at his own 14-yard line. Straight ahead to Andre Franklin. Breaks a tackle, but then is brought down as he reaches the 16. Ed Smith, 52 of the middle linebackers, a man who made the stop. Ed Smith was an original draft choice of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And to show you what kind of camaraderie there is between head coaches, David, in the National Football League, when Smith was cut on the very last cut of the Steelers 2 years ago, Chuck Noll called Mike McCormick and said, I think he can help you. He's a great kid, a good ball player, but with the great linebackers we got, we can't use him. And so they picked him up, and with Simonini going down, Smith is playing a lot. Cephalo split to the bottom of your screen on 2nd down and 8. Figueredo reaches the 20-yard line. Stopped by Mike Woods, the right side linebacker.
Mike Woods on the tackle.
That certainly is true about the coaches in the NFL. You'll find that most of the coaches in the NFL are very, very much in favor of the players. There's 52 Ed Smith coming in there, playing across the front of his man, getting out into the play. He's trying his best to fill a whale of a pair of shoes. This play right here is going to bring up a 3rd down and 5 situation, and Baltimore certainly has got to answer the call.
3rd and 4 at the 20.
Joe Rose, number 80, comes in at tight end, replacing Ronnie Lee. Cephalo is wide left. Duriel Harris to the right, and Nat Moore is slotted left. 3rd and 4. Woodley. Great catch, Figueredo. At the 25-yard line, Barry Krause ran him out on the far side. I believe he's got enough for the 1st down.
Figueredo on the reception.
Barry Krause was a number 1 draft choice out of Alabama, and Figueredo seems to be hobbling just a bit. I didn't know the young man had such great hands, Dave.
I didn't either. It hasn't been evidenced by his performances before this year, but of course he's playing behind Tony Nathan, so that's a whale of a player to be playing behind. Woodley never looks this side of the field. He's going to Figueredo all the way, and Figueredo makes the catch right on the 1st down marker. Barry Krause had him well covered.
Thus far, Tommy's biggest claim to fame was an 88-yard punt return for a touchdown against the Pittsburgh Steelers on a Thursday night encounter, in which the Dolphins had a laugher over Pittsburgh. But he's getting a chance to play today. Here's Franklin, spinning for a yard. Tackle made by Herb Orbis, 10-year veteran out of Colorado, and it's 2nd down and 9 for the Dolphins. The Detroit Lions have scored at the Silverdome in Pontiac. Eddie Murray, a 36-yard field goal. Detroit leads Oakland 3-0. That's 2nd quarter. Of course, at halftime, we'll have all the scores and highlights. Well, the question is, will Dave Shula get a chance to play here against his dad? 2nd down, 9. He's been on the field once. David Woodley throws it. Nat Moore wide open. 50, 45, 40. 35, cuts it back at the 30 to the 25, and a 1st down, Miami. He was wide open, Dave Rowe.
He certainly was. Larry Brazil, who's playing on this this side, and of course, as we've mentioned before, has taken so much abuse. Obvious was playing Nat Moore way too deep. He's afraid of getting beat long because he has in the past, and you can see as Woodley drops back here, drops back normal rush, and they've got a decent pass rush on him, but Nat Moore is wide open. You don't even see Brazil 5-6 yards behind, and what a man who's really been due. Nat Moore has only had three catches this year, so he obviously was due.
48 yards from Woodley to Nat Moore. Steve Howell, number 36, joins Andre Franklin in the Miami backfield. 1st and 10 at the Baltimore 25. The Colts trailing 7-0. Doubles again as Franklin squirts through for about 3, driven back by Mike Woods, 59. Also, Derek Hatchett, 42, in his second year out of Texas. Pretty good cornerback, Mr. Hatchett. They don't even throw to his side, but they don't have to. They beat Brazil so often.
Well, one thing a cornerback or a safety has got to have is he's got to have an unbelievable amount of confidence on him. Woodley is already 6 for 6 for 110 yards, so he's not having a very bad day either. But they have to have the ability to shake off those things when it happens to them. When they get beat, they have to have the ability just to turn it right around.
Okay, so we've come to the end of one quarter here in Baltimore. The Miami Dolphins leading 7-0, looking for more. We'll be right back. Back in Baltimore, that's our score. And a reminder, this telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League. It is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of the telecast without the express written consent of the Baltimore Colts and the National Football League is prohibited. 2nd down, 7, Miami. Woodley, option. Keeps it inside the 20 to the 17-yard line. Nesby Glasgow, 3rd year out of Washington, the free safety made the stop along with Barry Krause, and he got whacked pretty good. I don't know if he's going to want to keep it next time, Dave.
He must be made of rubber, or else he's awful young. You don't see many of the professional quarterbacks in this league doing that, running an option play, solely for the reason that they're so valuable. You lose one, and your team goes right down the drain.
So it brings around 3rd down and 3 now for Miami. If you joined us late, they scored early, the first possession of the day. 73 yards on the drive, culminated by a 32-yard pass from Woodley to Tommy Vigorito. Uba von Schamann converted, and it's 7-0 Miami. The Colts took it right back on the ensuing kickoff and drove it to a 2nd down and goal at the 3, only to have a clipping penalty set them back, and then Burt Jones was intercepted on the goal line. And now Miami has moved the football again. A big pass, 48 yards from Woodley to Nat Moore, setting them up in shop. And apparently we've got an official's timeout here as they reset the clock. It'll be 3rd down and 3. That is not a happy Mike McCormick on the sidelines. You played for him, David. What kind of man is he?
No, I really didn't play for him, Sam.
That's right. You were gone before he got here.
But I'll tell you, he's a very intense person, and he wants his players to play with reckless abandon. He feels that they're worried too much about what's going to happen, that they're going to make mistakes. And I believe that's the reason why he's gone with some of the problems that they've had, because he wants to instill confidence in his players. But obviously, he's worried about his secondary. They've given up an awful lot of yards. First quarter stats are indicative of Dolphins' dominance. You can see that they've got 109 yards passing. The Colts only had that one drive, and that was a 70-yard drive. They've controlled the clock for 9 minutes. Got 143 yards to 70 yards.
Here's a fairly important play now to the Dolphins. They lead at 7-0. They've got 3rd down and 3. Woodley had time to talk it over. He's got Bob Greasy up in the press box helping him with his play calls. Throws this one, and it's knocked away by Laird. But a flag is down, and we may have pass interference against Bruce Laird.
What happened on that play was that Bruce Laird came over the back as he tried to knock the ball down. He made an excellent play on the ball. You see Woodley as he drops back here. He's not getting a lot of pressure, and he knows exactly where he's going. He never looks opposite. But Laird, in his effort to get there, has his hand on the back. And that's obviously what they called.
Pass was intended for his tight end, Joe Rose. So it's 1st down at the 10-yard line now for the Miami Dolphins. The automatic 1st down on the pass interference against Bruce Laird, the veteran, now in his 10th year out of American International.
When things are going bad for you, they really go bad. And obviously they're going bad now for the Baltimore Colts.
How right you are. That ball is right on the 10-yard line. I doubt if Miami can get a 1st down here without getting the touchdown. So they've got to go the full 10. Franklin on the 1st down gets it. Touchdown Miami. Andre Franklin just burst right up the middle. The 10 yards in the score, and the Dolphins lead at 13-0, David.
Well, there was a hole in the center there. I don't know where Ed Smith went. He obviously got caught in a stunt there in the middle, and I believe Lou Ranoni could have ridden through that hole. That was a big hole. There was a 10-yard run that was very, very easy run.
For the uninformed, Mr. Ranoni is our director. They could have thrown our producer Terry Eward in there, and they both could have gone through the hole.
That's the truth.
Great block by Ed Newman there, number 64, taking Mike Barnes out of the play. So Von Schamann now will attempt to make it 14-0, and the Dolphins continue to sail along here through an undefeated season. Placement, the kick is up, and it is perfect. This ball club is 7-0 on the year, having won all of their preseason games, 3-0 in the regular season, trying to go 4-0. Everything working nicely for Miami. We'll be back with a kickoff right after this. Von Schamann has the ball set on the kicking tee. He'll be kicking to number 26, Kim Anderson, number 31, Zach Dixon, and number 85, David Shula. Well, he'd love to make a contribution and be the catalyst for a Baltimore comeback, wouldn't he, David?
He certainly would, but the way this game is going, I don't even know if they'll have to punt.
Zachary Dixon, 3 yards deep in the end zone. 15, 20, 25, 30. Off to the races and dragged down by Uwe Von Schamann, the last man who had a shot at stopping him, the kicker. And what a great return by Zachary Dixon. Let's see if Baltimore can do something about it.
Of course, Shula gets into Dave Shula, number 85, which we've highlighted several times, is only merely getting into the wedge there. If this spurt right here doesn't lift the Baltimore Colts, they're out to almost the 40-yard line. They've got to have the emotion now to get back in this game with a score.
42-yard return by Dixon. First down to 10 at the 39, and the pitch is to Curtis Dickey. Outside for a couple of yards. Coming up to make the flag is down again. Coming up to make the stop is Don McNeil, number 29, in his second year out of Alabama, and he's going to be an outstanding cornerback. But as I mentioned, a flag is down, and again, Baltimore appears to be victimized by it. Holding. Boy, oh boy, David, you said it, didn't you?
When it rains, it pours, as the saying goes, and everything seems to be compounded when you're having a tough time. I can remember the great years when I had in Oakland. It just seemed like everything continually went well. And of course, when you're on a losing team, the small things are monumental, and that's what's happened to the Baltimore Colts. They've got to get untracked.
So referee Bob Frederick steps off the 10-yard penalty against Baltimore.
Offensive holding, number 32, first down.
That would be Randy McMillan in the backfield. Don't forget, next Sunday, Bryant Gumbel will host NFL 81. All the highlight scores, late-breaking news from all the games, and a doubleheader of NFL action featuring an AFC East battle. Burt Jones leads these Baltimore Colts against a swarming defense of the Buffalo Bills, and the never-say-die Cleveland Browns travel to Los Angeles to meet the Rams. Check your local listings for the games in your area next Sunday, 12:30 Eastern Time on NFL 81. Jones, little out pattern, caught up around the 40-yard line. Number 80, Raymond Butler, the wide receiver.
Tackled by Don McNeil.
And I believe that's only the third catch of the year for Mr. Butler in 4 games now, David.
That's right. Burt Jones is definitely going more to his wide receivers as he goes now to number 80, Ray Butler here. Butler makes the aerobatic catches a lot like John Jefferson of the San Diego, now with the Green Bay Packers, of course, but they've got to go more to their wide receivers, and they've got to get this offense going.
42.
Second down, 9. The ball, 41-yard line of Baltimore. The Colts trailing Miami 14-0. Under 13 minutes to go first half. Jones, good protection, has a first down. Randy McMillan trying to put a juke on the defensive back. And McMillan reaches the 47-yard line. Ernest Roan combines with Brzezinski to make the stop. But the Baltimore Colts are on the move with the first down. And McMillan looks very good today.
Obviously, Miami had a break in their defense here because McMillan comes out of the backfield, and he's obviously well uncovered there. He's got a lot of chance to make the ball, and he's got a chance to go upfield. He certainly has been impressive so far this year carrying the ball, and he's been impressive there. Also, 10 receptions for 62 yards.
He has been their leading receiver thus far in the year. So it's first down, Baltimore to Miami 47, and thus far that vaunted Miami defense has not really gotten close to Burt Jones. McMillan cracks in for 2 very hard yards. At the 45.
To the 45.
A.J. Dewey, 77, is the man who made first contact. Let's look at that nose tackle that you used to play and love so much, David.
Well, I obviously think that's the hardest position to play. You're constantly doubled, but Baumauer's playing it excellent. He played across the face of the center at that time and was able to get towards the play. And that's what you want to do. You don't want to be cut off. You don't want to be driven back, and it's a real important thing. Look at that surprise right there. Cleveland 21-10 at halftime over Atlanta.
Well, the Browns have it in them. But some people think Atlanta may be the best team in the league this year. Quick pitch to Dickey. Trying to get outside, accelerates to the 40-yard line and out of bounds. He'll be shy of the first down. Brzezinski ran him out on the far side. He'll come up about 3 or 4 yards shy of the first down, but Curtis Dickey may very well be the fastest man in the NFL. There's no way of telling, but he's been clocked in 4.2 in the 40. And as I said earlier, David, that's with football shoes on. I imagine in track shoes he could run it in 4 flat.
That's awesome speed. I saw him last week against Denver run a ball 61 or 63 yards, and 2 men had an angle on him, and he just outraced them.
He has beaten Houston McTeer, one of the outstanding sprinters in the nation, in the world for that matter, in both the 60 and the 100-yard dash. 3rd down and 4 for Burt Jones, trailing 14-0. Has a man over the middle, and he can't hold on. That would have been 6 points to Raymond Butler. That had touchdown written all over it, but it didn't have enough touch. It had the touchdown, but not enough touch.
That was not a Burt Jones typical pass. He floated that ball to Raymond Butler. I don't know whether he felt the pressure or what, but that obvious wasn't a Burt Jones pass. As he dropped back there, he lofted the ball. In other words, tried to place the ball rather than firing it. Burt has one of the strongest arms in the NFL.
So Mike Garrett, number 9, on to punt for the first time today. He'll be kicking to Tommy Vigorito. Actually, the Dolphins have 3 people back there. But Vigorito is their primary punt return man.
They even messed up the fake punt.
Nothing going well for the Baltimore Colts today.
Yeah.
Kim Anderson on the fake punt, and McCormick is shaking his head on the sideline. They can't even pull off the fake punt on 4th down and 4. So, frustration reigns supreme here in Baltimore for the Colts. The Dolphins coasting to a 14-0 lead. We'll be right back.
Burt Jones suggests ice. Brian Sipe can make Newsom awesome. Willie Tullis, a man admired by his teammates. The saga continues next Sunday on NBC.
Sam Nover, Dave Rowe back in Baltimore. Our colleagues Dick Enberg and Len Dawson have an upset in the making at Detroit's Silverdome in Pontiac, where the Detroit Lions lead Oakland 3-0 at the half. And another score, Philadelphia 7-6 over Washington at the half. Jaworski to Giamona, the only touchdown in that game. Here it's 14-0 Miami, following the aborted fake punt by the Colts. Miami, David Woodley has all day, throws the home run ball, and he overthrows his intended receiver. Nat Moore down the left sideline. Derek Hatchett had good coverage on Nat.
Pass intended for Nat Moore.
So following the takeover in good field position, Dave, Woodley decided to go for the whole hill of beans there.
It's obvious that the Baltimore Colts are doing a lot of switching up. We've seen Bruce Laird at the left corner. Now we see Derek Hatchett.
Green Bay has gone on top now of Minnesota 10-0. Lynn Dickey to James Lofton, a 6-yard touchdown pass, and a Jan Stenerud field goal of 21 yards. I think John Jefferson's going to see a little action in that ball game if he hasn't already. But the Pack leads at 10-0. 2nd down, 10 for David Woodley and the Dolphins. Some movement in the line, and a flag is down. Struggling for yardage, Andra Franklin up around the 50-yard line. He's stopped by the middle linebacker, Ed Smith, but I believe Baltimore may have been guilty of offside, but we'll have to wait and see. Vigorito's indicating it's against Baltimore, so at least Tommy agrees with me.
I'm sure that was my son, number 71, when I played here. Mike Ozdowski used to be called my son. And obviously, he took right after me because he jumped off sides, and I did that a lot, too.
Ozdowski, David, is probably the Baltimore equivalent to A.J. Dewey, isn't he? He can play both down lineman and linebacker, and he's got the same size and speed.
He certainly does. He's able to come in as a defensive lineman.
2nd down.
He's also able to jump back as a linebacker. He's got great speed, and they consider him their best defensive lineman.
It was indeed Ozdowski, number 71. Now it is 4th year out of Virginia. So Miami elects to take the penalty, save the down. It'll be 2nd down and 5. They lose a couple of yards, but they save it down. Steve Steve Howell, number 36. Vigorito, 32. The setbacks behind Woodley. 14-0 Dolphins. And complete at the 43-yard line. Larry Brazil with the coverage. He was knocked out of bounds. And Duriel Harris, but they're bringing it back, saying that the pass was caught out of bounds by Duriel. He has but 7 receptions this year, and Woodley's got to get the ball to him more often, I would think.
Everybody wants to catch the ball when you're winning. I think it's about the first pass that Woodley hasn't completed in bounds, but he obviously caught the ball way up and didn't get both feet coming down in bounds.
Duriel Harris, number 82. 3rd down and 5 for the Dolphins. 1 setback. Nick Giaquinto, 35. And Woodley will throw it again. He lost one down the middle to Joe Rose, and he overthrew him, and he had his tight end wide open. In fact, he had 3 open receivers on the play. And the mock cheer goes up for the Baltimore defense.
It goes up because it's the first time they've stopped him today.
So David Shula, number 85, will get a chance to return a punt in front of his father. I would think he'll get a chance here. Tom Morris, the free agent rookie out of Ohio State, at his 30-yard line. And there you see David Shula. And we will watch the expression of his father, Don, on the Miami sideline throughout this entire return. And the punt by Orris, a good high spiral. Shula lets it bounce inside the 10. It goes out at the 1. My, oh my. Out at the 1-yard line. Well, that has to please Don Shula, and I'm sure David's not happy about it. 53 yards on the punt by the rookie from Ohio State. We'll be right back. The expression all the way, watching the football. Will David field it? No, it's going over his head. Where is it? Where is it? 1-yard line. Strock tells him. Good. All right. Nice kick. I love it.
2 weeks in a row.
That's
Last
right.
week he put one out there.
That's right. Orris has done very well. 4 kicks inside the 20, and he put one out at the 1-yard line against the Houston Oilers last week. There's a study in contrast, isn't it, from one sideline to the other. Mike McCormick. You know, there's irony in every football game. Mike McCormick was, I'll tell you the story later, David, if you don't know it. I find it fascinating. From the 1-yard line, Jones with his back to the end zone, trying to get some running room. And McMillan gets out to about the 5. It'll be 2nd down and about 6 now for the Baltimore Colts, who trade 14-0. McCormick was involved in a 15-player trade back in 1954. He went from the Dallas Texans to Cleveland the year they moved that Dallas franchise to Baltimore. One of the players going the other way from Dallas to Baltimore was Don Shula. Can you believe that?
That's irony, all right.
Dickey trying to get outside. And they push him back as he reaches the 7-yard line. Well, they call them the Killer Bees because of Betters, Beaucamper, and Baumauer. I guess they also call them the Swarm down in Miami.
Or the Bee's Nest, of course.
Oh, you can have a lot of fun with that.
Yes, you can.
When you're playing defense that well, you can have a lot of fun.
They certainly have played well, but that's been a trait of the Miami defense for several years. They have really, really played well over the last 7 or 8 years. Bill Arnsparger, of course, is highly renowned as a defensive specialist, and over the last 8 years, they've only had 16 points a game scored against them.
3rd down and about 3. Dickey tripped up as he reaches the 10-yard line. It depends on where they spot the football. Bob Brzezinski, 5-year veteran out of Ohio State, is the man who made the stop, and they did not get the 1st down. There, David Rowe is a great linebacker, Mr. Brzezinski. They paid a pretty good price to get him. A couple of 2nd-round draft choices in a 5th. But I think it's paying very big dividends.
Well, another general manager that I know very well, Al Davis out in Oakland, has done that several times. He'll take players that are discontented somewhere else, bring them into his team, and make great players out of them. And obviously, it's working for the Miami Dolphins and Brzezinski.
Fulton Walker, the rookie out of West Virginia, back at his own 46-yard line, awaiting the punt from Mike Garrett. We didn't get it last time, but I can guarantee you'll get one now. Garrett has been one of the bright spots in an otherwise dismal start for Baltimore. Look at that average, 46-1. He has just had a tremendous start. 3rd in the NFL at the moment. This one's a little short, caught by the up man. at the 45-yard line, Glenn Blackwood. And that's where Miami will go to work in superb field position. From the Baltimore 45-yard line, a punt of only 35 yards by Garrett. 1 yard on the return. The Dolphins lead it 14-0. Got to be a happy day in the sunny city.
On a short kick here. Obviously, the official missed this. It was on Kim Anderson. There is what you call an inadvertent face mask as he pulls him down by the face mask. But Miami, again, has excellent field position on the 45-yard line.
14-0 Dolphins. The irony is that Don Shula and his squad had a very bad week of preparation, we were told. A lot of rain in Miami. Didn't get to do all the things they wanted to, David, but they certainly look like whirlwinds today. Or maybe it's that Baltimore looks so bad. First down at 10, Miami. 45-yard line of Baltimore. Woodley with one setback behind him. It's Andre Franklin. And the wide receiver screened, but he never got it out there. Intended it for Vigorito, but Woodley never got it out.
For Tommy Vigorito, incomplete.
Let's check some other scores from around the National Football League, bringing you right up to date. The Jets continue to lead Houston. That's a surprise. 21-10 in the third quarter. Buffalo has gone on top of Cincinnati 14-10. Joe Ferguson has 2 touchdown passes in that game. And the Pittsburgh Steelers leading New England 21-7. That's in the third quarter. Cleveland 21-10 over Atlanta. That is a shocker. Although Cleveland's a pretty good football team. Second down, Franklin. Nothing there. He runs right into Herb Orvis, number 88.
Herb Orvis, number 88, is probably one of the most inspirational players that you could have out there. He is all over the field. He's one of the oldest players out there, too. He was in the service for several years, but he is a real player. He goes all out all the time. You can see the shot that he puts here on Andre Franklin.
He simply beat Kuchenberg and Dennard.
Yes, he did.
Right from the snap.
They were going to do a split block there where the one blocked back and pulled around, and obviously he came through there untouched.
Third down and 12. Wide receivers, 2 to the left. 1 to the right. Woodley with good time throws it downfield to Cephalo, and he couldn't hold on. And Woodley put it right into his hands. Jimmy Cephalo dropped the football, but he won't do it very often. Youngster out of Penn State had a couple of touchdown receptions in the win over St. Louis to open the year, and he could have had one there, I think, David.
He certainly could have. As he made that break towards the post, he was wide open, had the ball delivered right on the end of his fingers, and he should have come up with a reception. Fortunately for Joe Paterno, that didn't happen yesterday. Of course, Woodley, as we know, completed his first 6 passes, but now he's missed 5 in a row.
Dave Shula back to return this punt from Tom Orris, who put it out at the 1-yard line last time. Let's see if he can get it anywhere near there. Father Don inserted for you. You can watch the reaction. I'd love to see David field the punt here.
Yeah.
Give us a little bit of expression. Fair catch by Shula, and again he lets it go over his head, and again the Dolphins tip it out inside the 5. Oh, my goodness. Downfield was Elmer Bailey, number 88, and he just slapped the ball out of bounds at about the 3. 46 yards on the punt, no return, and the Dolphins can do no wrong. We'll be right back. To have to be peddled elsewhere, a free agent out of Ohio State, number 3 in the National Football League, entering the game today, averaging 46-1 on his punting. He put one out at the 1-yard line earlier and put that one out, David, at the 3-yard line. What more can you ask of a special team?
There isn't anything else you can ask. And they're going to have to put a new situation in there inside the 5 for him. That's 3 in the last 2 weeks, and that is really a tough spot for an offense to come from.
Randy McMillan for about a yard ran right into Vern Den Herder.
McMillan just has nowhere to go here. This isn't one of his 146-yard runs because he doesn't have anywhere to go. They really call the Miami defense a swarming defense, and you can see as evidence there that there's 5 men in the picture.
Second down, 9. McMillan, good misdirection. Comes out across the 10 to about the 12-yard line. He'll be fairly close to a first down. Let's pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
And this is WCKT, Channel 7 in Miami.
Welcome back to Baltimore's Memorial Stadium. A magnificent day for football so far. Pretty good day for the Miami Dolphins. Sam Nover and Dave Rowe. We are here to watch Miami lead at 14-0. Touchdown pass of 32 yards from Woodley to Vigorito. A 10-yard run by Andre Franklin. And Baltimore just got a first down. At 12-yard line. At the 13, let's call it, and Jones throws it downfield and badly overthrew his intended receiver, who I believe was Raymond Butler. He had Reese McCall out there also.
Again, that's not a typical Burt Jones pass. He doesn't seem to be zinging it in there. He's not under a lot of pressure, as he's indicated this past week. Raymond Butler there, number 80, has got great speed and makes tremendous catches. He's an aerial artist, but obviously the ball was way over his head. It was thrown to him, and you can obviously see that it wasn't even near him.
Well, David, this is exactly how we set the game up in our NFL 81 show, talking about Burt Jones. Now, you can talk about the quarterback in setting up any football game, but when you're talking about Burt Jones in Baltimore, success, it's almost synonymous.
It certainly is. Every game that Burt Jones has started, they used to have a record that the games that Burt Jones started, he did so well in. They won like 75 or 80% of the games that he started in, and it's not happening this year.
Randy McMillan run out of bounds by Bessalou up around the 22-yard line, around the, let's see where they spot the ball. Just shy of the 20. It'll be third down at about 5 now for Baltimore, trailing 14-0. 6:01 to go in the first half. Burt Jones has struggled all year. He didn't even have a good opening ball game when they beat New England 29-28.
3rd and 4 at the 18-yard line.
He's 4 out of 7 for 33 yards unofficially in the ball game today. Nickel defense, Kozlowski, Ed Taylor back there. Jones throwing it downfield. He's got a man wide open. Out of bounds at about the 35-yard line. But he threw that one right on the money. Raymond Butler.
Butler really starts this play off well. He gets wide open, as you can see here in the picture, number 80, Raymond Butler. An excellent pass pattern, and that's what Burt Jones does so well. It's a 43-yard reception, and just when you're about ready to call quits with Burt Jones, he stings you, and that's why he's highly regarded in this league. I was wondering how much longer McCormick might go with him before going with Landry, and Burt comes up with a 43-yard pass.
So the Colts have it, first down at 10 at the Miami 35-yard line. He beat double coverage, too, which makes it even more impressive. McMillan trying to go back the other way against the grain, gets about 3. Tackled by Brzezinski, 59. They're doing a lot of that, cutting back against the grain because, as you indicated, David, the Miami defense swarms so well around the football. They're trying to get them going one way and cut back.
The 34 defense that Miami plays is very, very easy to get to the ball, get a lot of people to the ball. The 3 up front men play strong in their positions. You've got 4 linebackers and your deep secondary. Everybody can get the ball in a hurry. But as Baltimore came up to the line that time, it looked a lot different. They looked like they have a spark in them or something. This might be a changing point in the game for Baltimore Colts.
That pass to Butler was the longest pass play for Burt Jones this year. He's looking around now. He's still got time. He's got a man open. Dickey, touchdown, Baltimore. To hero in one pass, 32 yards on the touchdown pass from Jones to Curtis Dickey.
The first touchdown pass of the year. Curtis Dickey, look how far he had beaten his man. Again, we go back to the speed. He had beaten Bob Brzezinski. And Brzezinski, of course, is not used to covering people with the speed of Dickey coming out of the backfield. But that's what makes Burt Jones so valuable, is that he can have a terrible day and come back and strike in 2 plays and really hurt you.
Mike Wood will attempt attack on the 7th point. Landry drops it down, and kick is up and good. So we've all of a sudden got a 14-7 football game here in Baltimore with 5:07 to go. And Dave, as you said so perfectly, when Baltimore appears to be out of it, when they appear to be down and their fans are booing and Jones is overthrowing his receivers, just like that, 2 passes downfield, 6 points, and they're back in the game.
I noticed that Baltimore, when they came up and they threw that long pass to Butler, I saw a different Baltimore team coming out of that huddle up to the line. That's the spark that I was talking about. Look at the standing ovation here for the Baltimore Colts. This is a team that wants to see a town that wants to see their football team do well.
Here's a statistic that will absolutely boggle the mind of all of our listeners and our viewers. That was the first touchdown pass the Baltimore Colts have thrown this year, and we are 3.5 games into the season. And you're talking about one of the most prolific passers in the history of the NFL, at least in regard to the number of years he's played. Nobody, neither Jones nor Landry, had thrown a touchdown pass before that one, Dave.
Baltimore Colts single game tickets are available at the Colts ticket offices in Owens Mills.
Fulton Walker is a deep man here in the setup now for Miami as you watch Mike Wood put the ball in the kicking tee. This young man was an excellent kicker out at San Diego when Ralph Benershka went down with Crohn's disease. And then when Ralph got better and came back, he simply beat Wood out for the job. And the Baltimore Colts were there to grab him off, and he's kicked very well. And he kicks very deep. Not this time, however, as Walker will field the ball at the 5. 20, 25, 30, 35, and pulled down from behind. An excellent return. He was dragged down from behind by number 51, Ricky Jones. 32 yards on the return.
Well, a simple 7-yard play, 2 long passes, 98 yards. Remember, the ball went out on the 2-yard line, and we said how exciting that was for the Miami Dolphins, but it sure didn't prove to be a disappointment to Burt Jones as he threw 98 yards, a 32-yard pass to Dickey. And Baltimore's back in this game. Regardless of how poor they played, they're back in the game.
Now it's incumbent upon David Woodley to get the Dolphins back on the scoreboard again to neutralize the play by Jones. Franklin for a couple of tough yards up the middle, reaches the 40-yard line. Kuchenberg trying to clear the way. Barry Krause, number 55, and Mike Barnes, 63, make the stop. For all the latest developments in the drive for the playoffs, be sure to tune in to NBC's Baseball Game of the Week next Saturday, the final Saturday of the regular season. Our lineup will depend, of course, on the playoff races, so check your local listings for the game in your area next Saturday at 2 o'clock Eastern Time, right here on NBC Sports, the home of baseball. Second down, 7. Woodley has all day. First down at the 45-yard line, and coming back for the football was Jimmy Cefalo. Larry Brazil again on the coverage, but Cefalo came back to the ball.
What makes this pass so hard to defend is that not only does Cefalo get a good pattern, but Woodley rolls out to give himself extra time, gets out of the pocket, and he's standing out there by himself. We see as Woodley takes a snap here. It's a straight back rollout. They cut down the defensive end, and he's out there by himself for a little while. Cefalo comes back to the pass, a very hard pass to defend.
So it's first down, Miami. 3:41 to go on a moving clock here in the first half. 14-7 Dolphins. Franklin gets a call again, but there's not much there, and a penalty marker is down. Mike Barnes, 63, Ed Smith, 52, but we've got a preliminary call of holding against Miami. And that will stymie their drive momentarily.
If Baltimore can stop them on this series, it could give that spark back to the offense. They know they can move the ball down. They've got confidence now with Burt Jones. Obviously, he came up the line, as we said, with a lot more confidence. If they can stop him on this drive, we may really have a ball game here in Baltimore.
So McCormick has something to smile about now. Coming up at halftime, of course, Bryant Gumbel with all the scores and highlights on NFL 81. And like any typical Sunday in this league, David, as you well know, there are some surprises.
Every Sunday.
Like clockwork, isn't it?
Yeah.
First down at 20 after the holding penalty against Miami back at their own 45. And David Woodley brings him out again. One setback, then he hands off. Vigorito for about 3 yards. Mike Barnes, in his 9th year out of the University of Miami, made the stop. I'm wondering if Miami isn't working just a little bit on that clock here and would love to get out of here with a 14-7 lead and cool the enthusiasm of Baltimore, Dave.
They realize also that Baltimore certainly has gotten the spark. Woodley was, they said, was very confused last week in his play, and of course they pulled him and put Strock in, but evidently he started off well this week. He feels confident by the fact that he's completed so many passes and led his team well.
Second down, 17. Steve Howell, 36, in the backfield with Vigorito. And Woodley again, now flushed out, has a man wide open at the 45, his big tight end. Joe Hardy, number 84, and he's out of bounds near the 41-yard line of Baltimore. Ricky Jones and Derek Hatchett ran him out. But the 4-year veteran out of Arizona State came up with a real clutch reception.
One thing that really hurts a defensive line is when the quarterback has mobility like this, enables him to get out of the pocket and just really kills the rush. You get a hard rush inside. In the olden days, the only person that used to run around when I was defensive lineman was Fran Tarkman, used to move around. But every other quarterback used to stay in that pocket and step up. But Woodley's got the ability to run wide, and that really presents a problem.
2:09 to go. Counting down to the half. Or the 2-minute warning. 3rd down and 6. 3 wide receivers in for Miami. Woodley throws it out, and it's dropped. Joe Rose had his hands on the football, and Bruce Laird had his hands on Joe Rose, and never the twain shall meet. So Baltimore holds, at least for the time being. And before we get the 4th down punt now by Miami, we've reached the 2-minute warning. 1:57 to go in the half. We'll be back right after this.
Back, but on this one, Earl Campbell loses the handle, and Lance Mel comes up with the ball. Jets in business and leading 23-10. Let's go back to Baltimore. Sam Nover, Dave Rowe.
Thank you very much, Brian Gumbel. The Jets trying to hold on to that surprise that they got going at Chase Stadium, New York. Brian will be back with us at halftime, and he'll have more of the scores and highlights of the games around the NFL. Here it's 14-7 Dolphins. They've had it very much their own way until the latter stages of the second quarter. Burt Jones and a couple of bombs got on the scoreboard and a touchdown pass to Curtis Dickey. Tom Morris back at his 45-yard line, again punting to David Shula. And angling for the far sidelines. Shula again for the 3rd time signaling for the fair catch after the ball went high over his head. And the ball goes into the end zone for a touchback. Boy, we almost had 3 in a row like that. First 2 punts by Orris went out at the 1 and the 3. That one played with the goal line for a moment before bouncing in.
If Fulton Walker, number 41, could have stood up, he slipped down there. If he could have stood up, he would have touched that ball inside the 5-yard line and downed it. Obviously, they've worked on that a lot. And they work on that coffin corner kick. They kicked to the right side there. They knew that the wide receiver is going down, and all he's trying to do is stop that ball from going to the end zone, and they've done a great job of it.
Maybe that's why Don Shula wasn't so concerned about meeting his son David today. He knows the kid isn't going to run anything back. They kick away from the return man. So Burt Jones with 1:45 to work on the clock here and try to get his team back in it. Over the middle, caught by Dickey at the 27-yard line. And he's hit immediately by Ernest Roan. And the Baltimore Colts in their hurry-up offense. Pretty big series, I would think, David.
With having Burt Jones in there, 1.5 minutes is a long time, and they've got the time to go ahead and get down, at least get a chance at a field goal. Burt seems like he's opened up a lot more and really exuded his confidence with that last series.
2nd down and 3 at the 27. He's got Carr wide left and Butler to the right. He hasn't thrown to Carr all day. A flag is down, and Jones is on the loose. 35, 40, and out of bounds. But as I said, a penalty marker back in the Baltimore backfield. And generally, that indicates offensive holding. But let's hold everything here until referee Bob Frederick tells us. And he just did.
You could be an announcer. You could be a referee, Sam.
I might even be an announcer someday, too, David.
Oh, you are. That's the worst place to see a penalty flag. As a defensive lineman, when you see one go down there, you're excited and happy. As an offensive one, you're not. Yeah, I always resented the fact that they always say the offensive lineman's number. You know, it's the only time he ever gets recognition is when he gets a holding call.
Here's the referee.
Offensive holding, number 68, 2nd down.
Now in his 5th year out of Oregon State, that would be Jeff Hart.
And everybody's looking him up in the program saying, who is that 68?
Want to meet him after the game.
That's right. You never hear that referee come on and say, great block by number 62, Ken Huff.
That's what we're here for. Well, the Jets just got a safety against Houston. They lead it 23-10. So an upset very much in the making at Shea, New York. Jones setting up the screen to Curtis Dickey. 30, just shy of the 30-yard line. He goes down in a heap at the 28. And they will be shy of the 1st down. It'll be 3rd down now and about what, 2 maybe? And they stop the clock with 47 seconds to play in the half. So Jones will come over and have a chat with not only Greg Landry, but with his head coach, Mike McCormick. 14-7, the Dolphins lead it, but Jones trying to get his team moving. That graphic tells it all, the score, the time left. The only thing you need to know, it's third down at about 1.5 yards for Baltimore. They are at their own 28-yard line, trying to maintain possession, get the first down here, and then maybe Jones can go on top. He is now 8 for 11, passing for 131 yards and the touchdown. Dickey has the first down and more to the 33-yard line, and let's see if Baltimore elects to stop the clock. They are still in the hurry-up offense. Burt has already called 2 plays. 33 seconds to go in the half. Jones, the quick out pattern to Butler, and he dropped the ball at the 35, but it didn't make any difference. They just wanted to stop the clock, and they did, with 26 seconds to go, Dave.
If they get a long pass here to Butler or Carr, they're going to be able to stop the clock, and they want to have that timeout left. They only have 1 timeout left. They had to use another one early, so they have to use that last timeout in case they get a long pass downfield to stop the clock for that field goal kick. Their field goal kicker, Mike Wood, as we talked about earlier, already has a 48-yard kick, so he has great distance, and he's 5 for 5 already this season, so he's perfect. So they have a chance to get down here and get in scoring range.
Third down.
26 seconds to go as you look at number 7.
Correction, second down. Second down.
His father, of course, Dub Jones, is in the record books, as is his son, Burt. Dub Jones was a great receiver with the Cleveland Browns, once caught 6 touchdown passes in a game against the Chicago Bears 30 years ago. But Burt Jones is more concerned about what's going on here in Baltimore. And McMillan gets it across the 40 to about the 43-yard line. And the clock now is stopped with 15 seconds to go. 16 seconds, I beg your pardon, left in the half. Baltimore using another timeout here.
By Curtis Dickey not going out of bounds, they had to use their last timeout. Now they've got to throw an out pattern. They can't go across the field unless they've got them wide open going for the score. If they want to have a chance for a touchdown, they've got to throw some type of a sideline pattern where they can get out of bounds and stop the clock.
There's been a lot of talk, particularly here in Baltimore this week, David, as you know, about the fact that if Jones had trouble early on, they would probably call some plays for him from the sidelines. And there's no real way of telling, I guess, for us up here, but I surmise he's gotten some help today.
I would imagine so, too, Sam. I believe that other than those 2 passes that he threw in that 98-yard drive, he wasn't having a very good day. And those 2 passes certainly sparked him up, and as we said, that's the thing about Burt Jones. He can strike you any time. That's why he's so highly regarded. But it's very obvious that he wasn't having a good day prior to that. Now, if they can throw a pass here, they can get back their confidence, they'll be back in this ball game.
At our production meeting that we normally have the day before a football game, Dave and I asked the public relations director of the Miami Dolphins, Bob Carney, whether or not there was a fear that Miami might come up here with heads that were too big. After all, they were 7-0 through the preseason and regular season. A lot of young kids feeling very good and very vigorous. And Bob said as long as Burt Jones quarterbacks the Baltimore Colts, a Don Shula coach team will never be overconfident, because Shula holds that young man in the highest regard.
He's been burned too many times by Burt Jones.
Burt is 6-5 against Don Shula coach teams in his career. So he's got the advantage. First and 10 with only, you see the clock, 13 seconds left. It's complete upfield to Dickey. They don't have a timeout left. They may not get another playoff. If they do, this will be it. Quick snap by Jones. Throws it out of bounds, trying to stop the clock, but a flag is down. Now hold everything.
There is a flag.
Hold everything. The half cannot end on a defensive penalty, but it's offense against the Baltimore Colts.
There'll be no penalty, and the half will end.
Illegal procedure, and so the half has come to an end here in Baltimore, Maryland. The Miami Dolphins 14, the Baltimore Colts 7. Quickly recapping, David Woodley to Tommy Vigorito, 32 yards on the pass, 7-0 Baltimore at the end of a quarter, or rather Miami. And then Andra Franklin, a 10-yard run up the middle early in the second quarter. Like nothing to it, 14-0 Dolphins. But 2 quick passes late in the half. Burt Jones throwing upfield, finally into the end zone to Curtis Dickey, 32 yards. And that is our halftime score. The Miami Dolphins 14, the Baltimore Colts 7. Our halftime activities will begin right after this. And with Dave Rowe, this is Sam Nover. The Baltimore Colts trailing the Miami Dolphins by a score of 14-7 at halftime. Let's check some of the other scores around the National Football League at the moment. They are midway through the third quarter at Chase Stadium in New York. Kenny Stabler has just thrown a 70-yard touchdown pass to Kenny Burrow. They say that Stabler can't throw long, David. We know better than that. And the New York Jets still cling to that 23-17 lead.
Richard Todd found Wesley Walker for 2 long passes, too. A 29-yard touchdown pass and a 40-yard touchdown pass in that game.
They led early on by a score of 21-10. Here's another one. Buffalo leading now 21-10 over Cincinnati at Riverfront Stadium. That may burst the bubble. A little bit of Forrest Gregg. I think Cincinnati felt very good about their ball club this year.
They certainly have. They've been very, very successful early in the season.
Pittsburgh Steelers led at one point, 21-7 over New England, and the Patriots, who lost what they have to term a heartbreaker, for want of a better term, against Dallas on Monday night, coming back now on a Tony Collins 10-yard run. Pittsburgh 21, New England 14. And the Cleveland Browns in what has to be the surprise of the day. Not so much, David, that they're beating Atlanta, but the way they're beating them decisively in the fourth quarter, 28-10. Atlanta's not that bad. I don't know if Cleveland's that good.
I think Atlanta is one of the best teams in the NFL, and obviously Cleveland is having quite a day against them.
And in the fourth quarter now, it's still Detroit 3 and Oakland nothing. Eddie Murray, a 36-yard field goal, and at the Silverdome in Pontiac, 3-0. The Lions lead the Oakland Raiders. And Philadelphia 14-6 now. The score over Washington, Louis Giamona, has gone in from a yard out, and the Eagles continue to lead the Redskins 14-6.
In that Washington game, you can throw out the records there. Anytime Washington plays Philadelphia, it's going to be a real slugfest.
And Minnesota spotted Green Bay an early 10-0 lead, and the Vikings have now come back with 20 of their own points, and they're still in the second quarter. Tommy Kramer throwing a 10-yard touchdown pass, 20-10. Minnesota leading Green Bay. That game is still in the second quarter. And we're caught up to date. That's about it as far as football is concerned. A reminder to watch NBC tonight. Bob Hope has a marvelous special for all of you, welcoming in the brand new season of entertainment right here on NBC. The Baltimore Colts will receive the Miami Dolphins. We'll kick off. And our first half stats, David, anything jump out at you?
Yes, the fact that Baltimore's way ahead in statistics. Oftentimes statistics really tell the story of a ball game, but this has not been true in this game. You can see the lopsided statistics in total yards, 250 to 188 for the Dolphins. The running game, 99 to 52. That really does not tell the story, as Miami totally dominated the early part of the game.
That 98-yard drive by the Colts was the majority of their stats.
I remember them.
Kim Anderson breaks a tackle across the 25, and the Colts have come out with fire in their eyes. They're down by only 7, and they want that man to lead them back. Number 7, Burt Jones, now in his 9th year out of LSU. And he continues to wear that sleeve on his right arm. He's had some problems with the sore elbow. Jones will start again with Dickey and McMillan at the running backs. And they'll have that trio to throw the ball to. At least Jones will. Carr, Butler, and the tight end McCall, with Griffin, Pratt, Donaldson, Huff, and Hart up front. From the 26-yard line of Baltimore, 14-7 Miami. And McMillan in motion. Curtis Dickey. He broke one for 63 yards against Denver last week. It's about the only thing the Colts had to cheer about, Dave. Let's take again a look at that Miami defensive unit. Betters, Baumauer, Den Herder up front. And the linebacking core of Brodzinski, Roan, Dewey, and Gordon. A.J. Dewey has been rendered virtually useless in the ballgame. Haven't called his number very often.
On the mat, coach.
Secondary, McNeil, Small, Blackwood, and Bessalou. They're all still there. Second down and 5. Where is A.J. Dewey? Have to put out a missing persons report. McMillan for about 5, powering his way very close to the 35-yard line. He'll be about a yard shy.
Baltimore's come out, and they're going to try and establish the ground game early. I wonder how much that sleeve is really bothering Burt Jones, as he suffered 2 years in a row, 2 arm injuries that really could have knocked him out. You remember that great quarterback in Cincinnati, Gray Cook, that had a similar injury.
I do indeed. There's an injured Baltimore Colt down. It looks like Reese McCall, number 86, the tight end. And Tim Sherwin, the rookie out of Boston College, back in the lineup. So McCall is down.
He must have gotten in a wet spot.
Wow.
They consider Reese the best blocking tight end that they have, and he started for him the last 2 or 3 years, but he hasn't had the ball thrown to him hardly at all this year. This will be a real blow to him.
Well, while they're tending to Reese McCall at about the 35-yard line, let's take a break. It's 14-7 Miami. When we come back, Baltimore will have it 3rd down and 1. His team trailing 14-7, having taken some of the sting out of the Miami defense, trying to keep the football. Move down for the tying score if they can. Straight ahead, 1st down. McMillan, the ball carrier, 6'1", 226-pound rookie out of the University of Pittsburgh, the 12th player taken overall in the NFL draft. Just an outstanding football player. And the irony there, and there's been a lot of irony in our broadcast today, is that the Miami Dolphins sat in the 13th spot, David, and the man they wanted more than anybody else was Randy McMillan. He was taken right ahead of them.
That's right. Earlier, Don Shula and I had a chance to talk about that very thing, and he alluded to the fact that back in 1967, they were going to take me the same way.
Wow. Jones with the 1st down, a little out pattern to Roger Carr at the 45. That would be called a win on 1st down, gaining about 6 or 7 yards, and the first catch of the day. Kevin Long on a 2-yard run. Pat Leahy, a 43-yard field goal. Wowee, 33-17. The Jets appear to have that one fairly well locked up against the Houston Oilers. But Earl Campbell is hurting. Anybody who's seen him the last week or so knows that he just is not running with the same kind of reckless abandon.
And anybody who knows the Houston Oilers knows that that is their offensive team.
So it's 2nd down and 3 now for Baltimore after the pass to Carr gained 7. And Jones now doing the things that will instill some confidence in his ball club and having the time to do it. McMillan pretty close to a 1st down as he reaches the 47-yard line. Stopped there by A.J. Dewey. What is it that Miami does with that defense, Dave? They confuse Pittsburgh so much. They move people around. They'll stand up a linebacker. They'll put him down as a 4th down lineman.
Anytime the offense has to make a call, and they make blocking calls when they come up to the line, they'll look at a defense and they make a particular call that dictates how they're going to block. Well, with that man continually getting down the line, getting up, and that, it really confuses the calls.
It is 1st down Baltimore. Burt Jones has all day. Throws it to McMillan. 40, 35 to the 30. 25 breaks the tackle. Still on his feet to the 21. And Larry Gordon had everything they could do to pull him down. 31 yards. Jones to McMillan. The Colts are in range.
This is what Baltimore over the years has done so well. They've gone to their backs. They've got world-class speed back there. We've talked about it. But here, Burt Jones, under pressure, gets it out to McMillan. McMillan's wide open coming out of the backfield, and he's turned upfield. Now, there's a determined runner right there for a rookie. Look at the effort by him right there. He could have quit right there, but he gets almost 5 yards further with the extra effort.
Atlanta has just scored. Bartkowski to Alfred Jenkins. It's 28-17. The Browns continue to lead. Dickey spinning out of the grasp of one man, but into the grasp of another. He ran right into Vern Den Herter and Bob Baumauer, and they threw him down at the 19-yard line after a gain of 2. It'll be 2nd down and 8. 14-7. The Colts, with 11 minutes, 11 seconds to go 3rd quarter, have taken the second half kickoff and driven it right down the field. That's the score I just gave you a moment ago. 28-17 Cleveland now. From the 19, 2nd down and 8, they split Carr wide left. Raymond Butler to the right. Jones with plenty of time. Throws it, touchdown, Raymond Butler.
A Burt Jones strike to Raymond Butler. That's the way Burt Jones normally throws the ball, and that's why he's got so much respect. As he drops back here, he's looking strictly strong side. He sees Butler out there. Now that's a drilled strike. Look at that, right on the money in the corner of the end zone. and Baltimore is certainly back in the game.
And they beat Don McNeil on that side. Here's the attempt by Mike Wood. It is up, and it is perfect. And after trailing 14-0 and seemingly out of the football game, Burt Jones, having now completed 13 of 18 passes for 200 yards, has brought his team back. We'll return to Baltimore in a moment. Lead to 13-0 over the Oakland Raiders now. Billy Sims on a 3-yard run. Big upset at the Silverdome in Pontiac. 13-0. The Lions lead the Oakland Raiders. Here it's a 14-14 tie. Fulton Walker in the deep receiving spot. And the kick, a short one at the 13-yard line. To the 25. And brought down to the 27-yard line. He ran right into Randy Burke. Ran right into Burke at the 25 and got to the 27. So David Woodley now will have to show what he's made of, Dave Rowe, and bring his team back.
He certainly will. As we watch Burt Jones there on the sideline, I've noticed the trainer's been working on that right arm. And I also see that Greg Landry is up passing number 11 for the Baltimore Colts. So Burt perhaps is in some type of discomfort there with that right arm in the sleeve.
I noticed after his touchdown pass to Butler, he did not celebrate at all. He kind of hanged his head.
He is a very, very much competitor. Very dynamic.
Nat Moore in motion. He hasn't been much of a factor today. Vigorito putting his head in and gets absolutely nothing. Ozdowski, 71, is the man who greeted him head on. David Woodley at quarterback with Andre Franklin, 37, and Vigorito, 32, replacing the injured Tony Nathan in the backfield. Harris, Moore, and the tight end, Ronnie Lee, with Giesler, Kuchenberg, Dennard, Newman, and Laxo. We'll check the tight end. I don't think Ronnie Lee has played all that much. I think it's been more Bruce Hardy and Joe Rose today. Second down, 10. Lone setback there is Steve Howell. And the Dolphins are going to have to open up a little bit here. Woodley across the middle. Vigorito had it and dropped it. Then it was almost intercepted by Bruce Laird.
Certainly was a ball he should have caught.
Baltimore defensively going with the same down linemen, Hosea Taylor, Barnes, Orvis, and Ozdowski. The linebacking crew, which has been a bit shaky today, as it has been all through this season. Krause, Smith, and Woods, but they miss it's Simonini. Hatchett, Brazil still there. Laird and Glasgow. They exploited Laird early, haven't come back to him very much. Third down, 10. All alone. First down, up around the 40-yard line. Joe Rose, a tight end out of California, and he was wide open. Laird chasing him across the field.
You talked one play too early, Sam. As Rose come across that field, he was wide open. Bruce Laird on a one-on-one coverage obviously wasn't with him, and Rose had to dive. If the ball had been thrown well, as Woodley sees him here all the way, he's not having a lot of pressure in the middle. He sees him. If he could have led him, he'd have been off to the races there.
So a nice third down conversion for the Miami Dolphins. And they have the ball at their own 41-yard line. We're in a 14-14 game, and Don Shula pacing nervously. His team has won 7 straight in 81, 4 in the preseason, 3 in the regular season. Ooh, just avoiding the rush. Woodley now decides to run. Now he throws, and it's almost intercepted. I had the feeling that confusion reigned supreme there for the moment.
Yes, he had to make a decision between running, turning upfield, and running. At the last second, he decided to flip it off, and it went wild. He comes out of here, and again, he's using this rollout technique. It's been very, very successful for him early. You can see him cut down the defensive end right there. Number 90, Hosea Taylor, goes down, and David Woodley is out here by himself. Now the decision whether to run or whether to pass. He sees, man, obviously he was off balance when he threw and almost threw an interception. Could have been costly.
Right into the hands of Nesby Glasgow. So it is now second down and 10. David Woodley in just his second year out of LSU, the same school attended by Burt Jones. Considerably later, over the middle, great catch by Duriel Harris at the 38-yard line of Baltimore. And the coverage was there. Nesby Glasgow was with him. Harris just extended himself as far as he could, made the 21-yard completion.
Duriel Harris on that pass. David Woodley, again, is just very calm back there. It's something that you don't see in young quarterbacks, but he's they say he's very laid back, and he looks it there. It's very, very unobvious to the pressure, and throws a strike right there to Duriel Harris. Very, very calm in a pressure-type situation.
From the Baltimore 39-yard line. Now the defense of Baltimore is going to have to hang in. Woodley straight ahead. Franklin breaking a tackle, breaking another, bullying his way to the 32. Both Franklin and McMillan have run with reckless abandon today, David. I am impressed with both of these rookies, Franklin from Nebraska and McMillan from the University of Pittsburgh.
They certainly have. They're both built out of the same mold. They're about the same size, and obviously they're running very hard. This is the thing that Baltimore had happen to them last week. They came back with a long run. We know that Curtis Dickey ran 63 yards or so to score. And then Baltimore's defense had to come out and stop them, and they did not stop Denver. Denver drove the field and scored, and that's what it looks like Miami's doing again this week.
Doesn't get any easier for the Colts next week. They go into Buffalo to meet the Bills. 2nd down and 3. Woodley straight ahead. Vigorito stumbling to the 29-yard line.
Vigorito carried inside the 30. Tackled by Mike Ostrowski.
Now in the 4th quarter, midway through it, Philadelphia leading the Washington Redskins 24-13. Jaworski to Charlie Smith, 29 yards. Tony Franklin, a chip shot field goal. And the Eagles have a comfortable 11-point lead over the Skins midway through the 4th quarter. Here it's 14-all with 7:15 to go in the 3rd quarter. Double tight end now for Miami on 3rd down and 1. Bruce Hardy, 84. Joe Rose, 80. And David Woodley brings them out. Steve Howell. Vigorito the setbacks, and the give to the big fullback Howell. Nothing there for him. I mean, there was no resistance at all, and he reaches the 20-yard line. He almost looked like he stopped at the line of scrimmage expecting contact.
He ran over Derek Hedgen on that play. Wow, 42 number Derek Hedgen came up there trying to stop him, and Howell just ran over him. You know, we haven't said much about Miami's offensive line as we watch them here, but they do have a good offensive line. They've mixed it with young players, 3rd and 4th year, and they've mixed it with some of the old players, Bob Kuchenberg in his 12th year and Ed Newman in his 9th year. So they've got a mixture, and they're moving in the younger players.
On that play, they brought middle linebacker Ed Smith out of the game and put Barry Krause in the middle, Sanders Shiver on the left side, and they ran right at Shiver. 1st down now for Woodley. Arches one in the end zone, and he overthrows his intended receiver down there. It was the tight end, number 80, Joe Rose. Laird had the coverage, and they were looking for pass interference. I believe that's what they're hollering about, David.
Yes, they were. Bruce Laird was trying to draw offensive interference on Bruce Laird. He slowed down in front of the wide receiver, allowing the wide receiver to bump into him. He was trying to draw it. Of course, the pass wasn't even near where it should have been.
Those of you watching in Miami, don't forget your Dolphins come home next Sunday to host the New York Jets at the Orange Bowl. And if they come home 4-0, they are going to be a hot product in a town that has other diversions 12 months a year. Namely, what God gives us, the sun.
Right.
2nd down and 10. It's a great city, Miami. All day for Woodley. Completes the pass inside the 15 and out of bounds. Vigorito in the grasp of middle linebacker Barry Krause, I believe. But they pick up about 5 or 6 yards, so now Woodley will have a 3rd down and 5. They're obviously in range for Uwe von Schamann, but they'd like the 6 if they can get it.
Well, the things that we had talked about earlier, the pass rush from Miami and the pass rush from Baltimore, just have been no factor today in the game. The fact that Don Shula's son hasn't been any factor. So that's the changing realm of football. Continually, the things that work one week don't work the next week.
Minnesota blowing out the Green Bay Packers. Kramer to Ahmad Rashad. It's now 27-10, the Vikings. 3rd down and 4 here. Woodley looks, has a man wide open at the 10-5, touchdown, Giaquino. Nick Giaquino in his 2nd year out of Connecticut. A young man who's been kicked around the National Football League more often than a football.
That time, Baltimore tried to come with a blitz. They tried to bring 59 from the outside, Mike Woods, and he got cut down. Miami picked it up really well, rolled Giaquino out of the backfield and right in for a score, and Miami's back on top.
This is a young man who was cut by the New York Giants in '77, cut by the Jets in '78, went to the Canadian Football League, cut by Ottawa, came back, asked Miami for a tryout while he was a high school phys ed teacher in Fort Lauderdale, and he gets a big touchdown catch here on a 3rd down play from David Woodley. There's von Schamann's kick. It's up and perfect. And so the Dolphins take the lead back again. They lead at 21-14. 20 yards on the touchdown pass from David Woodley to Nick Giaquino. 21-14 Dolphins. We'll be back with their kickoff extra point there for Mr. von Schamann, moving him into the Fourth spot all time for the Miami Dolphins. Not a bad accomplishment for the youngster. Out of the University of Oklahoma in just his third year. Here's his kick. Deep to Kim Anderson. 15-20. And trying to break away from the pack, and he almost did. He almost broke that to the outside. But he was dragged down by number 54 or 53, Rodell Thomas, I believe it is, who saved the day for Miami.
If he could have gotten out of that last grasp, he was gone a long way because all of Miami had all come over there. You watch him break upfield, there's just nowhere to go right here. He has nowhere to go, but he doesn't get dropped down. He keeps his balance there, and that's a good sign. But right there, if he could have gotten out of that one, he was off to the races.
First down, Colts.
So the Baltimore Colts, with 5:45 to go in the third quarter, again will have to come back. They trailed 14-0, tied it at 14-all. They've seen the Dolphins go ahead 21-14. McMillan for 5, powering his way right up the middle. And they are running very effectively on this Miami defense. Let's pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
And this is WCKT, Channel 7 in Miami.
With former defensive tackle Dave Rowe, this is Sam Nofer in Baltimore's Memorial Stadium. Nice to have you with us. Great day for football or virtually anything else you'd want to do. 21-14, Miami leading Baltimore. 5:11 to go third quarter. Bert Jones has a second down and 5 at his own 26-yard line. And again, Dickey. 33-yard line, the first down.
I don't know whether McCormick is calling as many plays as he had indicated earlier, but they are really doing a lot to mix up the offense of the Baltimore Colts, and they're stymieing the Miami Dolphins right now. Again, a little misdirection play right there, a little roll draw to Curtis Dickey trying to get him out. Miami's got an excellent defense, and they're respecting it.
Hey, don't forget, coming up tonight on NBC, Bob Hope's All-Star Salute, followed by the Johnny Carson Tonight Show 19th anniversary show. Both of them, of course, are television institutions. Both can be seen back-to-back tonight right here on NBC. Bob Hope and Johnny Carson with their specials. First down for Jones. Home run ball. He's got Raymond Butler. Touchdown, Baltimore. And a penalty flag is down. So is Bert Jones. Roughing the passer, and Baumauer is irate. Touchdown, Baltimore.
We certainly talked about the speed that the Baltimore Colts have, and Ray Butler sure had it here. He beat his man one-on-one in coverage, number 80, Ray Butler, with a touchdown. He's 5 yards ahead, and boy, does he stretch it out right here. Don McNeil doesn't have anything to come.
Personal foul.
That's not a bad day, Sam. 4 receptions for 145 yards.
That's twice he's beaten McNeil now. McNeil has been the strength of that Miami defense for the last, at least the start of this season, and played very well as a rookie last year, but not today.
Here we see Baumauer. We've talked about him in that nose position. See him getting doubled there by 61 Robert Pratt. What a drive he's got right there, and he hit Bert Jones. I don't believe it was as much intended as it should have been roughing the passer. I think that was just unavoidable.
I would agree with Baumauer and with you, David. Here's the extra point by Mike Wood. It's up and perfect, and we are tied again. 68 yards on the pass from Bert Jones to Raymond Butler. Bert is now 14 out of 18, 276 yards. And the 3 touchdowns that Baltimore has. 21 all. We got a great game. We'll be right back. On roughing the passer against Bob Baumauer has walked off. And the referee, Bob Frederick, now explaining the penalty to be assessed on the kickoff. And I would think it's safe to assume, David, that Mr. Wood can get the ball in the end zone from there.
He certainly can. He's kicked off very well for him. I've been watching Bert Jones walk up and down the sideline, and I don't know what discomfort he's in. But Don McNeil, the person who was just beaten, is in a little bit of discomfort as we watched him over there working on him on the sideline. But look at that average by Bert Jones. 14 completions out of 19 attempts, 275 yards. And that's a great day for a game, and we're only in the third quarter. It's 20 yards of completion.
Wood did not want to pump it deep. From the 10, Duriel Harris swinging outside, 20. And out of bounds at the 21-yard line. Run out by Nesby Glasgow. And also Jones, number 51, was over to help him. So the Dolphins will go to work now from their own 21-yard line. And we're back in a tie at 21 all. And again, it's incumbent upon David Woodley to bring the Dolphins right back. This looked like a laugher early on, but it's anything but that at the moment.
Since about 5 minutes left in the second quarter, we've seen an entirely different game. This has been a great football game.
Woodley brings him out with Andre Franklin, 37, the upback. Tommy Vigorito dots the I, the handoff to the upback, and he gets nothing. They push him back inside the 20. May have gained a yard. Bob Kuchenberg, John Giesler, and the tight end, Bruce Hardy, trying to open some daylight for him on that side, but there's nothing there.
There certainly wasn't on that play, but Woodley took them last time. When Baltimore scored, Woodley took them right down the field, so Miami answered the call last time. We'll see whether they can do it this time again.
Second down and 9. The ball at the 22-yard line of Miami. Under 3.5 minutes to go, third quarter. Dolphins led 14-0 and were coasting early in the second quarter. And something lit the Baltimore spark. It's 21 all as Cepolo goes in motion. Out in the flat to Vigorito. Squirms for about 4 yards. Out of bounds. Run out by Barry Krause, number 55. So he picks up about 4. It'll be third down and 6 now. The Dolphins needing a big play here to keep the football.
I really like Miami's play selection here. Whenever they get pressure, they drop off to the back here, and Vigorito's a good back right there. He made a good move right there, picked up the extra 4 or 5 yards with his effort. They're making great play selections. It's going to be a whale of an offensive football game.
How's that for a shocker? That is now final. Detroit has upset the Oakland Raiders 16-0. Third down and 6. Vigorito, the lone setback. That's Nat Moore passing in your screen. Over the middle, caught, first down, despite the big hit from Ricky Jones. Excellent catch by Tommy Vigorito. He held on to the football, and that will be a Miami first down. He's a tough kid out of Virginia, Mr. Vigorito.
He took a hit that time. Of course, everybody's slapping Jones's hands, but he took a whale of a shot that time. And I think Jones made a poor decision here. I think he should have gone to block the ball, but he just really took a shot.
You know what I think I like about Vigorito more than anything else, David, is he knew exactly where he had to go to get the first down.
Yes, he did.
That's a Don Shula type of football player, is it not?
Don Shula, well, of course, everyone knows the story of Don Shula, but he coaches his football team one of the best in the NFL.
Here's Giaquinto cutting it back. Covering up the football as he crosses the 35 to the 37. Sander Shiver, in his 6th year out of Carson Newman, made the stop.
Sam, you allude to the point of a Don Shula coached football team. They never hurt themselves in a ball game. They're the least penalized team in the league. We haven't seen any turnovers by them today. They just continually, they don't kill themselves. They never fumble within the 35, 40-yard line deep. They just don't make the common mistakes that a lot of other teams do.
It's a wonderful point, David. It's absolutely true, as evidenced by the fact that they haven't turned the ball over today. But for that matter, Baltimore's only turned it over once on a pass interception. We've only had 1 turnover. Woodley has now passed for over 200 yards today. Play action. Has a man wide open. Cepolo avoids 1 tackle. 45. Midfield. First down, Miami. Mike Barnes came back to make the tackle. Good effort by the 9-year veteran out of Miami. But Cepolo, dancing in the middle of the field, got the first down up around midfield stripe. They'll spot the ball at the Miami 49.
Now, if you ever wanted to see a trick play, this was it. They brought Cepolo on a motion play from a wide receiver on the left back over. And look at that Penn State runner. It reminds me of the days when I used to run at Penn State. Of course, as a defensive tackle, I didn't run very much.
If you had played longer for Joe Paterno, he might have made you a linebacker. Andre Franklin busting right up the middle into Baltimore territory and held up at the 46-yard line. But a quick burst for 5, and Franklin and McMillan have run very well right up the middle today. And as we have pointed out repeatedly, they are very similar runners. And it's Randy McMillan that the Miami Dolphins wanted to draft. That is now final. Cleveland has placed the first number in the loss column for the Atlanta Falcons, 28-17. That's a big win for Sam Rutigliano's crew.
They really needed it. They were a lot down this year.
I Our report is that Don McNeil has pulled a hamstring. He will not return today. He might have pulled it in chasing Raymond Butler. Quick pitch over the middle, and he had his man, Duriel Harris, but he threw it too low.
Miami is continually going to that slant in against Larry Brazil there because they realize Brazil is cognizant of the fact that he's been beaten. In other words, he's keeping that cushion. We know that Franklin's already run the ball really well. He's got 13 carries for 45 yards, but Larry Brazil there, number 47, is allowing him to get that slant. When he has to play man-to-man coverage and they read that, they're automatically going to that slant in, and that's really hurting them.
Big play from Miami, 3rd down and 5. They have not been a very good 3rd down team this year. 28% efficiency. Nat Moore lining up in the backfield with Giaquino, trying to give him a different look. Woodley tipped and incomplete. That ball was tipped by a defensive lineman. They tried to give Baltimore a different look that time with Nat Moore setting up in the backfield.
They did, but that was Baltimore's best rush so far that I've seen today. They really came off the ball. You can see her 88 Herb Orvis just drives his man over. Miami's given excellent protection. There we see the ball was tipped, but he was well covered too, and they were fortunate they didn't have a turnover there.
So on 4th down, Tom Orris is back to his 40-yard line, and he'll be punting for the 4th time today to David Shula, who is yet to return the ball. We're looking for a reaction from his dad. There's been none. Orris has punted so well away from the return man. Here's another one. This one will hit inside the 20 at about the 14-yard line. And so again, Tom Orris angling for the out of bounds, doesn't put it as deep as he wanted, David, but it's a good punt nonetheless.
But again, did you see the coordination there on the kick?
And so Baltimore, with only 8 seconds left here in the 3rd quarter, has the football back again, and we're tied 21-all. Bert Jones back on the field with his offense. We'll see what they can do when we come back to Memorial Stadium. We're back in Baltimore with Don Shula, his son David, his wife Dorothy, we believe, sister Sharon, and brother Mike. We got the whole Shula clan up here. I think that is Don's wife Dorothy with her back to us right there. I don't know whether the young lady is David Shula's fiance or his sister Sharon, but there are a lot of Shulas in this building right now. Funny, it all started this way for Don Shula, David. Bert Jones complete at the 30-yard line to Roger Carr. Gerald Small made the stop, and we have come to the end of the 3rd quarter. So at the end of 3 quarters in Baltimore, it's Miami 21, Baltimore 21. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station. 3 quarters, we have Bert Jones unofficially 15 out of 19 for 291 yards. I would say reports of his death are premature.
They certainly are. They ever thought about benching him. They're not doing it now.
1st down at 10 at the Baltimore 30-yard line. We're tied at 21. Curtis Dickey scrambling for about 6 yards out across the 35. Glenn Blackwood is the man who made the stop, but this is not the same Miami defense that we have seen in earlier ball games this year. They are starting to bend a little bit more than they would like. And the dominance that we have known from people like Brudzinski and Dewey and Baumauer and Betters is seemingly non-existent at the moment, and that weak offensive line that we heard about in Baltimore is not quite so weak, are they, Dave?
They certainly aren't. Miami's not playing a bad ball game either. It's just that Baltimore certainly is playing an excellent ball game.
Look at McMillan. What a great effort, but he did not get it back to the line of scrimmage. The swarming Miami defense caught up with him that time and threw him for a 2-yard loss. They had him originally for a 5-yard loss. Number 77, A.J. Dewey. Just calling your number there, Mr. Dewey. He also went to LSU, as did David Woodley and Bert Jones.
See Baumauer in there, number 73, in a real struggle. That's a heck of an effort there by McMillan. You know, in fairness to Miami, they came into this game with everything against them. You come in and you play game one, a team that's 1 and 2, and they're not expected to win.
Mike Kozlowski, the 5th defensive back on 3rd and 6. Bert Jones caught him and dropped by Roger Carr, and he hit him right on the numbers. Well, they can't fault Carr for that one. It's 4th down, and Baltimore will have to give up the football.
That's the first pass he's dropped in a little while.
We've got 2 games in overtime. A Nick Mickemeyer field goal of 40 yards with 1 second to play lifted Buffalo into that overtime game at Cincinnati. And Matt Cavanaugh hit Stanley Morgan on a 12-yard touchdown pass with 24 seconds to play to lift New England into that overtime game at Pittsburgh. What a day in the National Football League. And we could have one here tied at 21. Fulton Walker in single safety, awaiting his punt by Garrett. Good high punt. 24-yard line to the 30. 32-yard line. Pretty good return by the rookie out of West Virginia. And David Woodley and company now go to work in this skin part of the infield. And when we come back, David Rowe, having played here for 2 years, I want to ask you about what it's like to play on the baseball surface at Memorial Stadium. Oh, the Orioles still very much in the race in the American League East. So what's it like to play on that skin part of the infield?
Well, prior to the last year when they went to their own training facility, Baltimore used to practice here. So the surface would get very, all mud, all dirt, and very, very hard. It's tough playing on that infield because it is strictly dirt.
Wide receiver screen to Duriel Harris, and he sneaks down the sidelines for about 6 or 7 yards. Past Sanders Shiver. Go ahead, David. Continue.
Well, once the season stops with baseball, they go ahead and sod that infield. It's not bad, but the constant practice on it really made it hard. They used to call this, you know, you've heard of the poly surface. They used to call this poly rock.
I've heard this place called a lot of things, from a pig lot to to a cement floor. Here's the score. Philadelphia really laid it on Washington. 36-13 the final. So the Redskins continue to sputter. They're 0-4. One of only 3 winless teams in the NFL entering this Sunday. Second down and short yardage. Vigorito trying to get the first down. I don't know. You know, seeing that baseball diamond still set up as it will be till the end of the season reminds me to tell you that NBC's baseball game of the week comes your way, of course, every Saturday. Our lineup will depend on the playoff races, so do check your local listings. But next Saturday at 2 o'clock, we'll have a game for you right here on NBC Sports, and we are the home of baseball.
You talked earlier, Sam, about the fun in the AFC. We've got some great football games, of which this is one. This could be a great game right down to the wire.
It is a first down and 10 for Miami. Vigorito just getting enough yardage.
Down to the 44.
Duriel Harris comes wide left and Nat Moore to the right. They put Moore in motion. Play action for David Woodley. A flag is down. His arm is hit. Caught by Vigorito. 50 to the 48-yard line. A heads-up play by Tommy Vigorito. And David Woodley is getting up very gingerly. I don't know whether he was holding that shoulder or not. He really got whacked, but a flag is down.
The flag was thrown very early, so obviously it's a penalty. Probably, well, I say obviously, I would say it's a penalty on the offense. But Woodley takes a heck of a shot right here as he unleashes the ball. Vigorito make a heck of a catch there. That'd be a wild completion if you could allow that.
And so referee Bob Frederick will step off the 5 yards against the Miami Dolphins and then tell us why and to whom.
Illegal motions on the offense. 2 men moving.
So it's 1st and 15. The ball now spotted on the 38-yard line of Miami. 11:56 to go in regulation time. Miami 21, Baltimore 21. The Dolphins have not lost in 1981. Franklin gets a call, bounces off one tackler to the 47-yard line. So he got back to 5 yards and a little more, and he's a power back. A rookie out of Nebraska having himself a very nice afternoon here.
I watched Barry Krause, number 55 that time, get up and slap his hands together because he realized that he had that tackle in the backfield and let him get out. But that's a sign of a good running back when that running back can take that initial hit on the line and still have enough to come out. You can see him coming to the sideline here, number 55, Barry Krause. Obviously made a mistake.
Franklin, 53 yards on the ground. Here's a Baltimore Colt, Hosea Taylor, just getting off in time as Woodley goes back to pass. Has a man wide open, Cephalo, at the 30-yard line, and he got hit too. But he held on to the football, and Miami has a first down at the Baltimore 30.
Well, we certainly don't want to belabor the point, but it's been made, and it is very obvious that Larry Brazil is playing too deep on his man. It's a fairly decent pass rush on this, but Woodley continually comes back. You can see Brazil way off his man, and he obviously shouldn't be playing that far off. And Baltimore's got to do something to change that. They've got to instill more confidence in Larry Brazil so they'll play with the same reckless abandon. But right now, he's playing with that fear of getting beat.
At the Baltimore 30, first down and 10. Woodley, a quick pitch over the middle. He's got his man to the 10-yard line. First down and goal, Miami. This time it was number 89, Nat Moore. So Woodley now brimming with confidence, has the Dolphins on the march, trying to break a 21 all-time. And he's got a first down and goal. And what's real... Go ahead, David.
Well, this is that typical in pass. They run it just from a split formation. He runs a seam pass. It's perfectly timed. You can see he splits the seam right there, and he's wide open. And he almost goes all the way.
You know what's really impressive about something like this is that David Woodley got jerked at halftime in the Houston game last Sunday. You would think it would destroy his confidence or damage it. He's played an extremely confident football game.
Very, very well. Very confident of his ability.
Two tight ends. Franklin, that's the play that got him a touchdown earlier, and it takes him to the 2. Nesby Glasgow made the saving tackle. The Pittsburgh New England game is final. Bradshaw to Lynn Swann, 24 yards. 11 minutes, 41 seconds into overtime. And the Pittsburgh Steelers beat the New England Patriots 27-21. The Jets, a final over Houston. They win 33-17 over the Oilers.
It was obvious on that last play, Nesby Glasgow had to come up and make the tackle again. That's a bad sign in your secondary when your secondary has to come up and make that tackle.
Second down and goal. Franklin trying to get the touchdown. I believe he's right to the goal line. The Dolphins have signaled 6, but I haven't seen an official.
Well, those are offensive players, and they don't know a whole lot, those offensive linemen. They don't know when it's a touchdown, when it's not.
Of course they don't, you old defensive tackle. You. Third down and goal. And Woodley looking for help. Giaquinto brings a play in from Don Shula, and presumably from Bob Greasy, who sits up in the press box, Dave.
Yes. I would think it's going to go to Giaquinto.
I like Woodley on a sneak.
I'm going to take Hal. That's who I'm going to take.
Third down and goal. Woodley on a sneak.
Well, Sam, now I know why you've been in this business so long. You must have heard Bob Greasy up in the press box calling that play. Look at him. He's just swelling up here with a little bit of pride on that call.
Do I look like I just ate the canary?
Yes, you do.
It doesn't happen very often.
When you get in this situation here, all you're trying to do on a defense is just get penetration, and they did. They got great penetration, and they stopped Woodley short.
Interesting call by Don Shula. No field goal here. Fourth down, inches. They'll go for the touchdown. I wouldn't bet on Woodley this time. Franklin, touchdown, Miami. Andra Franklin diving into the end zone. And on fourth and goal, the Dolphins get their touchdown.
I've never understood why you go with a quarterback sneak on a situation like that when you've got a 235, 240-pound fullback. And here we see Andra Franklin. He's had a great rushing average. Look at that. There's no way you can stop that strength. He's running full speed. Your defensive player's coming up. There's no way you're going to stop him. That's why I don't agree with a quarterback sneak in a short yardage situation.
Uwe von Schamann will attempt the extra point. 7:55 to go in regulation time. Plenty of time for Baltimore to come back. In fact, time enough for Baltimore to come back and Miami to go back again.
Yeah, the way this game, it could certainly be that.
Don Strock puts it down, and von Schamann's kick is up and perfect. And so, the Miami Dolphins have regained the lead again for the third time today. It's 28-21. The Dolphs will be back with their kickoff right after this.
Suggests ice. Brian Sipe can make Newsome awesome. Willie Tullis, a man admired by his teammates. The saga continues next Sunday on NBC.
So we're set now for the Miami kickoff. Uwe von Schamann has it teed up on the 35-yard line. Baltimore Colts now needing a touchdown to get back in the game, trailing 28-21. And a little squib kick, looking for the open area. And the Colts fall on it right on the 31 very wisely. I don't know who has the ball, but whoever did it very wisely. Number 66, Chris Foote. A backup center for the Baltimore Colts is a guy who fell on the ball.
Colts ball at the 31.
So from the 31-yard line, Baltimore goes to work. David?
I would like to clear up that last situation. As we look at the scores here, Minnesota 30-13 over Green Bay in the third quarter. San Diego is on the losing end right there in the first quarter, 7-0 with San Diego, Denver. Kansas City 7, Seattle nothing again in the first quarter. These are late games. Dallas leading the Giants 3-0.
Here's a quick pitch to McMillan, 35 to the 38. Go ahead and clear up the little thing you wanted to say.
I was going to say that Don Shula is only 4 victories from 200, which is quite a milestone for any coach. And his decision to go on that quarterback sneak, obviously he's got many, many more years experience than me, and he certainly is one of the most renowned coaches in the league. So I'll credit his experience. Look at that record right there, that graphic, that he's led his teams to 16 winning seasons in 18 years.
Well, the other thing I know for sure is that he's got 196 more victories than you do.
That's true.
That's the only thing I know for sure. Here's a handoff ahead. McMillan trying to get the first down, powering his way to the 43-yard line. You know, the funny thing about Randy McMillan, David, is that when it was rumored about 6 months before the draft that this young man would be a first-round draft choice, the most shocked people in the world were Pittsburgh media. I happened to live there in the offseason. And I think the way he played at the University of Pittsburgh did not really demonstrate his full talent. But it took a professional scout to realize what this man could do for a professional football team. And so when he was a 12th player taken overall, the media was surprised, but certainly nobody in the NFL. He's rushed for 70 yards today in 15 carries. Jones, wide open, Roger Carr, first down at the 38-yard line of Miami.
Boy, that's the sting right there. I watched Burt Jones on that delivery. He stung that ball in there. That's the Burt Jones, the strong-arm quarterback. Roger Carr with 7 receptions, only 7 receptions this year. But watch this delivery right here. Burt Jones is much more confident. It seems like that second quarter, late in that second quarter, he just instilled himself. Now there's the delivery. That ball's just, there's no time that you can cover it if he's got a chance there.
Ed Taylor made the stop, number 45, and I remind you that Eddie's replacing the injured Don McNeil, who went out with a pulled hamstring muscle. So Jones is bringing him right back again, having passed for well over 300 yards. Curtis Dickey, 20, 15, 10. Out of bounds? No. Touchdown. Out of bounds maybe at the 1. No, now they're saying he stepped out at the 9. So I beg your pardon, they're going to bring this one back. Boy, has he got electrifying speed.
He looked like he was running in full motion, and some of the other guys weren't. Of course, he was running against a couple defensive linemen. But he takes this ball deep in the handoff here, and he just comes through the line. A little bit crowded there, but once he gets that opening, you see Glenn Blackwood, number 47, coming there. Boy, he's got some speed. I think he goes out of bounds right there.
That's it. That's the step.
You know, that's an important thing right there. Those officials, I would say, are 99% of the time correct. They are really into the game.
Nice job done by our director, Lou Ranoni, and our producer, Terry Ewert. They had that one all the way. It is first down and goal to go at the 9-yard line. Jones, with plenty of time, throws it out in the flat, caught by Dickey, and he's pulled down at about the 6 or 7-yard line. McMillan's run for 70 yards, Dickey for 76. They are numbers 3 and 4 in the American Football Conference in rushing this early in the year, so they really have a tandem. And if Jones can start throwing the ball again like he did today, or has done today, this offense is going to score points and hurt some people, Dave.
One thing in the early game that really was evident was that Miami has a great respect for Baltimore. They said that this was the best backfield that they had faced so far, the best tandem of backfield. And they were very worried about Burt Jones, and it's obvious that they should have been worried about Burt Jones because he's had a day today.
Second down and goal from the 5. McMillan to the 1. Just a power sweep to the right, and they ran over people. There are people down, including blockers for McMillan and Miami defenders like Ernie Rohn. He is a horse.
Looked like somebody stepped on a landmine. It's about 5 guys went down in that play. It's just a power sweep to McMillan here. He's got 2 players out in front of him, Robert Pratt and Ken Huff, and he just bulls his way over to the 1. What a come up there by the corner. That takes a lot of courage to come up and hit a man like that.
We apologize for the slight video problem we're experiencing at the moment. It is not your receiver. It is our problem here, and we'll work on it. Third down and goal at the 1. All right. Straight ahead, Dickey dives. Did not get there. McMillan it was, not Dickey. And he has stopped shy of the goal line. So now Miami trying to put up a goal line stand like Baltimore tried to do earlier, forcing the Dolphins to get the touchdown on 4th and inches.
The crowd has certainly come alive as McCormick's going to call for a timeout so that he can talk it over with Burt Jones. He doesn't want to make a mistake in this situation. Could be one of the big plays of the game with only, 4.5 minutes left to go.
So when we come back to Memorial Stadium in Baltimore, it'll be 4th down and inches at the 6-inch line for Miami, or for Baltimore. Afternoon, Jim Breach, a 27-yard field goal with 5.5 minutes to play in overtime. Cincinnati upsets Buffalo 27-24. What a day. Here it's 28-21 Miami. Baltimore, 4th and goal at the 6-inch line. Dickey, touchdown. They don't sound like fans who have deserted their city and their team, do they?
They certainly don't. Whether you're a Miami fan or a Baltimore fan, it's fun being in Baltimore today and watching a football game like this. An interesting thing about this is they went over their All-Pro, Robert Pratt. I say All-Pro in that fact that he hasn't gotten that recognition, but he certainly is deserving of it.
Extra point by Mike Wood is perfect, and we are tied again at 28. And give credit to Randy McMillan for a good lead block on the Curtis Dickey touchdown. And so with 4 minutes, 35 seconds left in regulation time, we're headed for overtime. Could be. Sam Nover and Dave Rowe, welcome back to Baltimore, Maryland. There is bedlam here in Memorial Stadium, but there was, for the past couple of moments, the Colts, very much alive, have come back to tie this game at 28 all. And here's Mike Wood's kickoff. Fulton Walker, a rookie out of West Virginia, at the 5. Straight up the gut. Breaks it into the 25-yard line to the 28. And he was maybe a block away from breaking that all the way. So Miami has the football back again. Dolphins have a first down at their own 29-yard line with 4 minutes and 25 seconds left in regulation time. Sam Nover and Dave Rowe in Baltimore, Maryland. The Colts have just scored to tie this game at 28 all. Miami having led early on 14-0. Absolutely nothing for the ball carrier, Andre Franklin.
Mike Barnes that time did a stunt, strong side inside stunt. And he met Audra Franklin right in the backfield. I mean, what a hit. Wow.
Burt Jones has passed for over 300 yards in this ballgame after being highly criticized over his performance in the first 3 games of the year. The Baltimore Colts were looking for their identity and their leader coming into the game today, and they have found it in Burt Jones. Meanwhile, David Woodley, the young man you're looking at, has passed for 275 yards himself. Second down. Throws the home run ball to Dario Harris. It'll be first down Miami at the Baltimore 26. It's been like this all day, David.
You'll never see a prettier catch than that. Dario Harris stretched out right on the fingertips. And look how calm and nonchalant David Woodley takes this. A 54-yard pass by David Woodley. Lays it up there perfect. Dario Harris using the speed right there. Look at this finish right here. Right on the fingertips. That is a beautiful catch.
So now both Woodley and Jones are well over 300 yards for the day. And if you want a real feeling for this football game, over the first 3 games of the year, Miami gave up a total of 27 points. They have already yielded 28 to Burt Jones and the Colts today. First and 10, Miami. Tommy Vigorito for about 5 yards to the 21. Stopped there by Mike Barnes, the 9-year veteran out of Miami. And the clock now becomes a vital factor on both sides. 2:40 and ticking in a 28-28 football game.
Sam, I can't remember the last time I ever saw 2 quarterbacks throw for 300 yards. 2 in the same game.
Baltimore. It is second down. 6 for the Miami Dolphins. Tied 28-all with the Baltimore Colts. 2:15 to go. Here's a big hole for Franklin. It'll be first down, Miami at the 13 of Baltimore.
Carried inside the 15.
And that should carry us down to the 2-minute warning. David Woodley is already headed for his head coach, Don Shula, Dave. Bruce Laird is stretched out at the 15-yard line. He is injured, and while they attend to him and while we take our break for the 2-minute warning, I'll remind you, it's 28-all in Baltimore. We'll be back with a 28-all tie and David Woodley. Now going back to the sidelines, I'm wondering, Dave, whether or not that clock was stopped a little shy of the 2-minute warning for the injury to Bruce Laird, and now we've got the 2-minute warning. Right. Because the clock shows exactly 2 minutes to go in regulation time. David Woodley made his 15th start in the National Football League in this game today, and it's the first time he has ever thrown for 300 yards. I would think that has come rather early in his career, an accomplishment of that sort.
300 yards is a milestone for any quarterback in any game. That's a select few quarterbacks throw for 300 yards in any one game, and we've got 2 today. In a 28-28 tie. Of course, Burt Jones has done this before, and we all know the story about Dan Fouts, how many times he's done it. But it is a real milestone for a quarterback, and playing only in your 15th game, as you said, Sam, that's quite a milestone.
Well, Miami has a lot of options, obviously, with a first down of 10 at the Baltimore 13-yard line. What they do not want to do is give away the opportunity to win it on the toe of Uwe von Schamann. But on the other hand, knowing how Jones can strike and strike so quickly, I would imagine they'd love to get the 7 points on the board and then let Baltimore have to come back to tie it.
Von Schamann has been 6 of 9 this year, but he's only had 1 kick over 40 yards. This attempt from where he is right now, of course, would be well within his range, but you'd always like to run that clock down to, say, inside a minute before you give it up. And they have the opportunity to do that if they run 3 running plays.
Dave Rowe, you've talked a lot all day today about the poise and the maturity of David Woodley, and I don't think it's ever been more evident than on this particular drive, because 3 times now Miami has given away a lead, and each time the offense has asserted itself, and Woodley has been spearheading that offense. And it's virtually unheard of for a young man who is appearing in just his 15th game in his second year.
I think that's a true credit to his coach, Don Shula, because obviously he saw something in David Woodley early.
Here we go. 2 minutes to play in regulation time. We're tied at 28. And the give is to Andre Franklin inside the 10 to the 7-yard line. Stopped there by Nesby Glasgow, number 25. So he picked up 6 on first down. And immediately the Baltimore Colts will call a timeout and stop the clock. Why?
Well, they're going to call timeouts now to try to conserve the time, because they're going to come up with a 2nd and, say, 4 situation. They've got 2 more runs to make 4 yards, and they know they're going to do it. So they don't want to allow that clock to run down to, say, inside a minute before they get a chance. So they're going to try to use their timeouts now, and Miami is going to keep it on the ground. I bet dollars to donuts on that.
A minute 49 left in regulation time. We've already had 2 overtime games. In fact, right here on NBC. In the National Football League today, the Pittsburgh Steelers beat the New England Patriots 27-21 in overtime. The Cincinnati Bengals have upset the Buffalo Bills 27-24 in overtime. And we are headed for the same possibility, although I would think it's not likely now, with Miami certainly in range for Von Schamann with a 2nd down and 4 at the 7-yard line of Baltimore.
Looks as if Miami's in excellent position. Again, we go back to the pass that David Woodley made there to Duriel Harris. Quite a pass for, as you said, a 15-game player.
Baltimore has won 3 straight games, or rather Miami has won 3 straight games here in Memorial Stadium. And Baltimore is not a very good home team. 2nd down 4. Miami from the 7-yard line. Nothing there for Andre Franklin. In fact, he may have lost a yard. The Miami Dolphins, with a 2nd and 4, now will have 3rd down and at least 4. With a minute 44 to go in regulation time, and again Baltimore calls timeout and stops the clock.
Well, they've used their last timeout. Now they have no more. They've got 1 more play. They're going to try to stop the clock. Of course, again, on the 4th down, they're... But they're going to try and stop the clock as quickly as they can get back up on the ball so that they get a chance to block a field goal. And if they have to, they want to have as much time for Burt Jones as possible. But Burt is able to lie. I'll tell you, Burt Jones could take them 50 or 60 yards in a matter of less than a minute.
Well, any way you look at it, this is going to be, I would think, a sizable boost to the confidence of the Baltimore Colts. Having entered this game 14th and last in offense in the AFC, to have scored 28 points on the vaunted defense of the Miami Dolphins is quite an accomplishment. But perhaps even more importantly, and we'll see as the season goes along, Dave, Burt Jones rediscovered himself today. So the Dolphins have talked it over. They have a 3rd down and 4 to go from the Baltimore 7-yard line. And let's see what they choose to do. 3rd down and 4. Sam Nover and Dave Rowe in Baltimore. 3rd down and 4, Miami, in a 28-28 game. They're at the Baltimore 7-yard line. Vigorito in motion, and Woodley is rolling right. Down he goes, back at the 10. So the Dolphins will have to attempt a field goal with the clock running, 1:35 to go. Baltimore is out of timeouts. So if the Colts are to come back in this football game, they'll have to do it on the arm of Burt Jones and with no timeouts left.
Woodley didn't want to take any chance on this ball right here, fumbling a particular fumble on exchange or something, so he just kept the ball. Baltimore thought they came up with the ball late right here, as they felt that he fumbled late, but obviously he didn't. An interesting thing is Mike Barnes has blocked 2 field goals in the past to win a game.
Uwe von Schamann, a 27-yard field goal, perhaps to win the game, out of a Don Strock hold. Placement, the kick is up, and it is perfect. And so for the 4th time in this football game today, the Baltimore Colts will have to come back. Yards on the field goal by Uwe von Schamann. 31-28 with 1:02 to go and no timeouts. That is not an enviable position to be in, Dave Rowe.
It certainly isn't, but if you had any quarterback that you wanted to have a chance to do this, the Baltimore Colts feel that Burt Jones, and a lot of coaches feel that Burt Jones is the man who can do it. He's done it in the past, and it's obvious that he's got his confidence back today, so perhaps he can take him down there, get him within field goal range. Their kicker has been very, very successful and has hit one from the 48-yard line, so if they get somewhere near right around the 30-yard line, they've got a chance.
This Baltimore offense has tooled for well over 500 yards today. They have oiled the machine in Baltimore. Burt Jones unofficially, 19 out of 24, 333 yards, 3 touchdowns. Dickey's run for 77 yards, McMillan for 73. They have had quite an outing.
But, Sam, they have not found out what the problem is on defense. They haven't come up with the play on defense. They haven't stopped the Miami Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins have scored at will, and it's obvious, it's evident with 31 points that they have scored.
Good point, David. Here's the kick by von Schamann. It's a squibbler. 15, 20. Tim Anderson trying to reverse his field. 30, 35, and run out of bounds on the far side by Elmer Bailey. He chased him down, but Anderson gave him a thrill, didn't he? 26 yards on the return, 55 seconds left in regulation time. Incidentally, our spotters today have been Charlie Coliani and Ron Thomas, who really have kept Dave Rowe and I in the ball game. And our statistician, John Schneider, thank you, gentlemen, for an outstanding job. 31-28. Couldn't ask for a better ball game, a better day, a better crew, a better color analyst, Mr. Rowe. I've enjoyed it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I appreciate it.
We may have a way to go here yet.
Well, they've only got 35 yards to go, and they've got 55 seconds. That's not impossible.
But they can't stop the clock unless they take it out of bounds. Jones feeling the pressure to the 47-yard line. Roger Carr, hurry up offense. No, that was Randy Burke, number 84. 40 seconds to play. Jones with a first down. Throws the home run ball. A flag is down for Butler. Touchdown, Baltimore! But a penalty marker is down. It's against Baltimore. No penalty is against Baltimore.
Unbelievable. When it rains, it pours. Baltimore, Burt Jones threw a pass. Ray Butler made a tremendous catch, and they get a lousy holding call late in the game. Just a terrible blow to him. Look at the dejection of Burt Jones. Or if you're a Miami fan, it's a great moment.
I believe he said 61, Roger Pratt.
Robert Pratt.
Robert Pratt,
yeah.
8-year veteran out of North Carolina. Well, what can I say? He feels worse than anybody in the building.
Well, he's their best lineman, too. And that happens to all linemen. Of course, it's a big move for the Miami Dolphins. Again, it stops the clock, if that's any kind of consolence.
They wanted to stop the clock with a touchdown, David.
And they had it.
So they walk it off back to the 43-yard line, and the Dolphins have renewed life. 31 seconds to play. They would love to at least get into range for Mike Woods. Jones, pressure. Now they got him, and they tie him up, and he throws it away, but I think he was in the grasp of the defensive lineman, and that will be the first sack of the day for the Miami Dolphins, who entered this game with 16 to lead the NFL. That is incredible.
Baltimore's offensive line certainly has done a good job today, but on that time there, of course, in this situation, everything is compounded. The clock is running down there at 18 seconds, 17, 16, and counting. Baltimore's got their work cut out for them.
Credit that sack to Baumauer. It's going to be hard to come back now. Jones just puts it up in the air. Butler trying to run underneath it. It's incomplete. And Butler was looking for an interference call. We have 5 seconds to play, and Don Shula just indicating to his secondary, play deep, play center field.
Deep. Now you go into your 1-10 defense. That's one guy up in a line and 10 guys deep. You just don't allow him to catch it deep. Robert Pratt has got to be the most ejected player on that team right now, but he certainly is a good ball player and an all-pro caliber ball player, and I know he's upset as he walks in that huddle. But again, the Baltimore Colts feel that Burt Jones might be able to pull this out, but it certainly looks bad for him right now.
Well, they discovered Raymond Butler today, at least.
Yes, they found him.
Boy, did he have a day. This should be the last play of the game. And the Dolphins have 6 back. Jones being chased now by Dewey. Throws the ball across field. Don McCauley catches it. Down he goes, and the game is over. And the Dolphins have held on for dear life. They win it on a wing and a prayer after a penalty against Robert Pratt nullified what appeared to be the winning touchdown for the Baltimore Colts. But how could you ask for a better game? You had a glimpse of Dorothy Shula, her heart in her throat, I'm sure. We build this game as a Burt Jones story. It certainly panned out that way. We also build it as a father-son against each other for the first time ever. That certainly didn't pan out because David Shula didn't touch the ball all day, Dave.
Well, Miami played very good football. They scored 31 points, and they come back into Miami with a 4-0 record in the AFC East. So they're one of the leaders in it, and they're going to be right in the race for a playoff spot. Baltimore has to get some renewed feeling. They have to feel that was just a fluke that they got that holding penalty.
You got to win games like this if you're going to have a good season, and the Dolphins have emerged victorious in a game they could have lost. But I'll tell you what's impressive. They are giving a standing ovation to the Baltimore Colts as they go off the field. Coming up, NFL 81 will be coming up next here on NBC. Now stay tuned for the NFL report right after these messages from your local stations.